Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale presents the best of Neil Rogers. No live calls will be taken today. Neil is on tape. Okay, that tape or mini disc, but he's not here. Please don't call. The opinions heard on the Neil Rogers Show are those of the host and callers and do not necessarily reflect the views of Beasley Lead Acquisitions or the Beasley Broadcast Group, its management, or anyone else for that matter. Now remember, this is the best of Neil. Do not call. Put the damn phone down. Just relax and enjoy it on 560 QAM.
Men in chains, just the way I like them.
And then this morning I'm coming to work, and I'm over there in Plantation, which, by the way, I'll get to Plantation. I would like to report right now that I believe that there's a chigger in the woodpile that's in Plantation. And the call we had from the cop last week on his show, and now we have this Plantation, this big thing, this STEP campaign starting today, by the way, which I'll get into. The Selective Enforcement, Traffic Enforcement Program, STEP, as in step on this. That call was from some porker over there in Plantation is what it was all about, because this article in yesterday's paper, which I appreciate somebody bringing to my attention, by the way, this is a carbon copy of that phone call we got last week. They're trying to condition us to doing this and doing that. Meantime, I come back from the track last night and come west on Sunrise Boulevard off the Turnpike, as always, and there are people, I'm going, it's 45 is the speed limit, okay? I'm going 50, 52, whatever, which is a little bit over. People are going by me, as always, 70, 75 miles an hour on Sunrise Boulevard. And I say you people need mental help, including you. You're telling me that you were one of those people going 70 miles an hour on Sunrise last night.
Well, 65, 70. I don't usually do 70 until I get on, Palm.
Mental help these people need, okay?
Yeah, there's nobody else on the road.
Yeah, okay.
I don't run any red lights.
You're the one that the guy's talking about that wants to make it up as you go along. There's nobody else on the road, so you're going to go 70 on a residential street. That's nice.
Well, that 4Runner just gets away from me.
Yeah, I know. It's sure. See, I'm lucky I only drive a damn Corvette that can only go 165 miles an hour. You got that big, powerful 4Runner. I mean, I can't compare with that. A lot of rumors about their station, by the way. We'll get into that. So anyway, getting back to this thing, well, first of all, there's all these rumors. Before I get into the thing about the Plantation porkers, there are massive rumors about this place being sold. This radio station, or maybe, I'm not sure if it's just this station or if it's KISS and the Power 96 also, all three of them, the Beasley properties. And what we have to say to that is, oh my God, are we praying? We got our legs crossed, we got our eyes crossed, we got our fingers crossed, we got our nostrils crossed. I'm even wearing a cross. I'm rubbing my rosary beads right now. I'm going to lay some tefillin and whatever else I can get my hands on. Any kind of it, we're going to rub the Buddha on the head. Hey, listen, sooner or later, we'll get the leprechaun and to rub his head too a little bit. We'll get some lucky goddamn charms is what we'll do. Anything that might make that come true. Oh, God, would that be something? Hallelujah. Set us free, please. Whoever you are out there, the rumored buyers, which I don't want to say too much about it because once these things start leaking out, you can screw it all up. So I don't want to say too much. But the rumors are running rampant. You don't think that's the reason that we're just kind of sitting here like in limbo? Because you know that nobody who's a real broadcaster in their right mind would be running this place this way. So maybe that's what really is in the wind here. Not that I want to get anybody paranoid and psychotic that works for Beasley Reed, being such an upstanding company like they are. Oh, man. Any rate, this ties in so directly, not that I'm paranoid, but it ties in so exactly with that militant, psychotic call that we had on this show last Friday or Thursday. I guess it was Friday. And it was in yesterday's Scum Sentinel, right on the heels of that conversation. Plantation, where I just happen to live and have for many years now, Plantations break, B-R-A-K-E, with tradition. Police departments plan to halt motorists to ignore traffic laws. I want you to listen to this because even if you don't live in Plantation, this should give you an idea of the mentality that we're dealing with here. Motorists who drive through the city of Plantation should be extra careful to obey the law this month. Starting Tuesday, meaning today, the Plantation Police Department will clamp down on drivers who ignore speed limits, run red lights, tailgate, don't wear seat belts, don't signal or otherwise break the rules of the road. Patrol officers in police cruisers and undercover vehicles will be armed with radar and ticket books along all major roadways and school zones in the city. Every driver they see, listen to this, every driver they see breaking the law will get a warning. Many will receive tickets. Starting today, if you violate a traffic law, you're going to be stopped, said Police Captain Keith Hilgenfeld, who oversees the department's road patrol and motorcycle officers. The month-long sting dubbed the, a sting, it's a sting, they're stinging it. You feel it? They're stinging it. Dubbed the Selective Traffic Enforcement Program, STEP, how clever, is aimed at discouraging careless driving and decreasing the city's high accident rates. Plantation logged more than 3,000 motor vehicle accidents in 1997. According to Sergeant Frank Rubino, of these, more than 480 resulted in injuries. We had 15 fatalities in 1996 and 6 last year. That is outrageous, Hilgenfeldt said. How do you like that? He said not only was it unacceptable, it was absolutely
outrageous.
That's what he said. We have a problem, and we intend to address that problem. Rubino said far too high a percentage of drivers choose to drive in any manner they desire. Is this all starting to... I want you to listen to the verbiage here. Far too high a percentage of drivers choose to drive in any manner they desire with a belief that there is a low risk for enforcement. In many cases, Hilgenfeldt said, the people who complain the loudest about terrible drivers are the same ones who later get ticketed. Police Chief C.E. Sonny Sherritt Jr. said the point is not to see how many tickets we can write for revenue or statistics, but to educate. The hope is that once people get used to driving safely along the city's major roads, they will maintain their good driving habits on smaller residential streets. After nabbing violators for the next 3 to 4 weeks, police plan to reinstate the program several times a year. End of quote, end of story. If that doesn't sound like a carbon copy of the conversation we had with that militant, obnoxious, disgusting porker on Friday on this show, I mean almost word for word is what it sounds like to me. And, of course, it's only a coincidence because I happen to live in Plantation. And guess what? I'm not wearing no seatbelt. I'm going on the air right here with that now today. I am not wearing a seatbelt. See, that whole seatbelt law is like telling me what kind of toilet paper I have to wipe my ass with. It's none of your business. What I'm doing inside that car, unless it affects the way that I drive, and by the way, wearing the seatbelt, and I've tried, it does affect the way that I drive detrimentally.
Yeah, when you have a big fat gut.
That's right. That's exactly correct. And if they want, I'll get a note from my doctor, and I'm very positive I have several doctors who'll be more than happy to write a note saying, like an excuse from school, because I got a head cold today, that I'm a fat pig, and I have diabetes, and I have blood pressure, and this and that, and whatever else, and occasional hemorrhoids, and as a result, I cannot wear that seatbelt. And if you guys don't have anything better to do, in addition to which, the last time I checked, pulling somebody over only for not wearing a seatbelt isn't legal in the state of Florida. You have to be violating some other traffic law before they can pull you over for that, is the way I understand the law. I could be wrong about that. Now maybe we'll start pulling people over for passing on the right, too, like on Sunrise. Now, I applaud, I'm all for pulling over dangerous drivers. People who are running red lights, people who are running stop signs, not maybe like not making a complete stop, but people who are running stop signs, people speeding in school zones. I'm coming this morning to work out here on Honey Hill Road, and I'm slowing down. Now, granted, those lights haven't worked since we had the big storm a couple of weeks ago, but any jackass can see where those people with the straps, the orange straps on, standing on the corners, helping the little kids across the street, those traffic, whatever they call them. That means there's school in session, and the sign says very clearly, school zone 8 to 9 a.m. And I'm coming here 25 to 9 or 20 to 9 this morning, and I'm slowing down to my 15 miles an hour, and there's this big, a Schwarzer in a big truck behind me, and this guy's like practically pushing me because he's so pissed off because I'm going 15 miles an hour right on the dot. Well, it's a school zone, you asshole. And there's people speeding through there. I didn't see nobody getting any tickets, of course. People going 70 miles an hour on Sunrise, like I said, 80 miles an hour on Sunrise and Broward Boulevard. People running those lights that I've been talking about forever. And, of course, this business, they're going to be equipped with radar and ticket books. Well, that sounds like more of the same to me. And if you have, why don't you get the speed limits like on hiatus? They're up to where they belong, like 45 instead of 35. And then none of us would have, who are at all responsible, would have any problem with that. But it's very obvious to me that some of those speed limits are set artificially low so that they can do what they've been doing for years. Maybe that's why they have so many fatalities and so many accidents, is they haven't been doing a good job of getting the really dangerous drivers off the road, and they're sitting there with too many goddamn speed traps. What a concept in Plantation, huh? What a concept. And sitting around by my house a couple of blocks away, off the under trees, under Melaleuca trees, waiting to see if all four wheels on your car came to a full stop when you came to that stop sign. And maybe some of those trees got trimmed back, by the way, so you could see absolutely clear in every direction there. Maybe that might be a little help, too. Instead of having big branches of trees hanging out in the middle of the street so you couldn't see somebody coming if your life depended on it at certain intersections. But this sounds like a militant. It sounds exactly like this porker that called here, and it was on a Broward line, by the way, and I'd be willing to bet a lot of money if I could get my bet in, which I doubt. But I'd be willing to bet a lot of money that it was the same porker and that this whole thing is an offshoot of this show. Wouldn't surprise the hell out of me. We're going to show you, you faggot. We're going to show you a thing or two, and we'll hang out there right in. And by the way, if you also want to help save some lives, how about, it's really nice the city of Plantation finally got that light up there at 118th Avenue and Sunrise Boulevard. But you know something? It's been up there for weeks, and all it does is flash and flash. It flashes yellow, and it flashes red. That's all it does. It doesn't change anything. It's no different than it was before. because there are stop signs on the north end of 118th and Summer and the south end on both sides of that intersection. So if you would put that light into motion, get it working, and make it a regular stoplight with like a real red light, would certainly help to control traffic and also stop people trying to pull out of there and make a left turn and getting killed. But I understand we're pushing a little bit too hard. You want to make us obedient. It's not a case of writing business. We want to make you obedient, like the guy said. We want to condition you to doing things right. Right. Like you're going to condition dangerous drivers and drunken drivers into doing things right. Okay, let's try Miramar. Hello.
Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
All right. You can
Oh, my God.
That radio yesterday was bad. I thought it was my radio. Thank God it's only your signal.
Yeah.
It sounded like the radio.
What do you mean, thank God it's only my signal? Isn't that great?
Anyway, about the Porker situation. I hope first on the list are these cops when they're off duty and in their private cars that drive around.
No, they're not. Sir, what are you wasting your time with that? They're not going to be first on the list. They're not going to be on the list.
They
you know
should
that?
be on the
but they're
list.
not going to be on the list. You know that.
And their family members, that just because they have one of those little badges on their tag means that they can drive any way they want.
Well, that's all part of that whole thing, that whole fraternal order of police business and all that stuff you put on the bumper. I mean, if people really don't get stopped because they're wearing that stuff, that's one of the biggest hoaxes in the history of mankind.
That asshole that called you last week is probably at the top of the list of the guys that drive around and weave in between traffic.
Well, how do you know that?
Well, because they're all like that, these cops. That's the way they drive,
well, that's
man.
That's a
they
good
think
point.
they're above the law. They can enforce the law, but they don't have to abide by it.
Okay, have a great day, pal. Here's Miami. Hello.
Yeah, hi. According to the law, it turned on January 1st that anyone that does not have seatbelt on could be pulled over without doing something else. It just started this year.
Well, isn't that great news?
Yeah, because when I had to go to traffic school back on January 7th, and I brought that point up, and the guy said, not anymore. January 1st, if you're caught without a seatbelt, they can stop you.
If you're caught without a seatbelt.
Yep, just one little petty thing.
Oh,
they got nothing better to do.
I better go out and buy some Charmin today because I don't think I got the right kind of toilet paper in my house either.
There you go.
Thanks for the good news,
hey,
pal.
And in closing?
Yes.
Can I, shameless request?
Yeah.
The Japanese are called and...
Chinese. Don't get the Jets in this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The Chinese.
The Chinese?
Don't get put a chink in the armor there, will you?
All right.
Okay, I'll work on it, pal.
No portion of this broadcast may be reproduced without the express written permission of WQAM Beasley Reed Acquisition Corp.
I was riding on a train to Austin, Texas, when a very lovely lady sat next to me. When she got up to eat, she asked if I would hold her safe. I was more than happy to, and now there's more I'd like to do. I want to kiss her, but she won't let me. I want to whisper sweet nothings in her ear. I want to hold her behind closed doors and more. I want to kiss her, but she won't let me. When she returned, she said she was an actress. She showed me an album of pictures of her opening, which she'd been sitting on. Seemed as sweet as she could be, but I could clearly see she was the kind of girl who stole men's hearts and wrecked them. I want to kiss her, but she won't let me. I want to whisper sweet nothings in her ear. I want to hold her behind closed doors and more. I want to kiss her, but she won't let me. Well, I'll never forget that train ride down to Austin. We shared a seat and we shared our tales. But as my heart tries to leave her behind, in the end. I wanna kiss her, but she won't let me. I wanna whisper, keep nothing in her ear. I wanna hold her behind closed doors and more. I wanna kiss her, but I wanna kiss her, but I wanna kiss her, but she won't let me.
You know, there was once a time, not all that long ago, a few years ago, we couldn't play that on the air. That was one of our censored pieces of material. What does that tell you? And that leads right in. It segues right into this fax, which is a new one. We had the story yesterday in Texas about the T-shirt. Another habitual T-shirt violator, this one in Ocala. Jury selection began Monday in the trial of a 24-year-old Florida man. A trial. They're having a trial over this, okay? Charged with obscenity over a T-shirt featuring a bare-breasted nun and calling Jesus a profane name. How do you like that? A bare-breasted nun, probably
Sister Mary Catherine. Jesus.
That sums it all up, I guess. Record store clerk Andrew Love was wearing this is a record store clerk wearing a new T-shirt promoting the British death metal band Cradle of Filth in November when security officers at an Ocala shopping mall told him to turn the garment inside out or leave. Before he was able to reverse the shirt, Ocala police showed up, arrested him, and confiscated the shirt. The shirt shows a bare-breasted woman in a nun's habit reaching between her legs. On the back are the words, Jesus is using the crude term for female genitalia, the C word. I know it's offensive, Love said, since when it is against the law to be offensive. Love contended the shirt was not obscene, but prosecutor Steve Rogers, no relation, thank God, disagreed. Love was never jailed on the misdemeanor charge, was released on his own recognizance. If convicted, he could be fined $1,000 and sentenced to a year in jail, along with all those other habitual, like pot smokers, probably. Florida law defines obscenity as something the average person believes would appeal to a prurient, shameful, or morbid interest. Something is obscene if it depicts or describes sexual material in a patently offensive, oh, here we go with this again, and lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. Which means that none of those postcards that they sell in Amsterdam on street corners out in the public would they be able to sell here, of course. Like the ones that show the Pope sitting on the throne taking a dump. In this community, meaning Ocala, the T-shirt is definitely political, said Love's attorney, Jim Reich. He said the case had sparked an outcry from fans of Cradle of Filth, civil libertarians, and those of the anarchistic bent. Reich argued Love's arrest amounted to unlawful prior restraint because police officers determined on their own that the T-shirt was obscene. Marion County Judge Sandra Edward Stevens rejected that argument, and opening statements were expected to start in the case today. Another habitual T-shirt violator. So don't give me no song and a dance about American First Amendment rights, because we don't have any. That's what it boils down to. We have the word police. We have the bumper sticker police. We have the word police. Now we got the goddamn T-shirt police. Remember in Hollywood not too many years ago, and Mayor Galante had the T-shirt police arresting young people in a Hollywood beach. First of all, why would young people want to be in Hollywood Beach anyway with all the old frogs? But number two, they were wearing T-shirts that said disgusting things, which were like, by the way, paled into insignificance compared to that one. So there you go with some more good police work in America as you hear the boots stomping all over the place, baby. So those rumors must be right. They must be planning on unloading this joint.
Where'd you hear that?
Oh, it's all over the place. I heard a rumor on the radio just a little while ago that QAM is being sold. That's what I hear. Oh, my God. Listen, there's no way that I could convey to this audience how desperately we, George and I, and many others, but I'll speak for ourselves, how we pray that that's true. Pray is an understatement. Like I said, I'll turn to religion. I'll become born again. I'll put on my white shirt and a tie and ride a bicycle. I'll do anything, okay? That's right. I'll even put on that magic underwear. I don't give a crap. Anything at this point, just to try to bring that to fruition and make it a reality. Because these people here, man, they are clueless. It's not like they're a little bit off. They're way off in La La Land. They're so far removed from anything that has to do with radio broadcasting that it's like we're talking about a Chinese freaking laundry. And they could even screw that up. And I forgot that Chinese restaurant. But if he hangs on, I'll get around to it. Just hang with me, pal. One of these days I'll play it. Here's Tamarack. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm responding to the article that you just read about the T-shirt.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was working in Plantation 7 years ago, near the corner that you talk about a lot, Valley Boulevard and University. Right near the food spot where all the cops hang out.
Right.
And the guy I was working for, Wide World of Sporting Goods, we had a lot of risque T-shirts. And we got the word that there had been a complaint.
Oh, my God.
Huh?
Yeah.
And we got a complaint from one of the cops that said a woman had called and they were going to come down and they were going to, confiscate the shirts and so forth.
Yeah, because they probably wanted to give them away as gifts to their girlfriends.
But anyway,
oh my God.
I told the boss, I said, just leave the shirts out there and let the chips fall where they may, and whether they
let the shirts fall where they may, right?
Exactly, but he folded and he took the T-shirts down and caved in because he didn't want any problems. I was willing to let it go all the way.
Yeah, what a bunch of shirt.
But you see that I figured the First Amendment would protect me, but I guess.
Oh yeah, right. You're in a dream world, man. You're in La La Land. There's no First Amendment. It's an arbitrary thing. The cops make it up as they go along. We find that's offensive. That's obscene. Okay.
You're exactly right. And these were just, they weren't even that risque, compared to what you're talking about. But it was this attitude that you just mentioned. And interesting enough, you live in Plantation. The cops, they were very good because they at least tipped us off and they told us what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And they've been very friendly to us. But those are the ones you talk about that always have the coffee at that place.
Right. Oh, they sure do. Well, they make a good cup of coffee, I'll tell you that.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, congratulations, sir.
I'm glad, and I'm just responding.
And I'm glad you cleaned up your act.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay. We got the dirty language T-shirt police going now, baby. You have to be kidding me. What the hell are you doing in Amsterdam?
Neil?
Yes.
I love this apartment. We have it. You're welcome to use it.
How is
we are 1 block from the marijuana hash museum, which means we're half a block from the red light district.
Well, keep your damn windows closed, for Christ's sakes. All you need to do is get the munchies. That'll be the end of you.
It's true.
You don't need any assistance.
Neil, I want you to use this place. I love it. I love Amsterdam. It took 6 days to get a phone.
Yeah.
But it is wonderful. The food's great. The bakery is superb.
No fish food in Amsterdam.
No. I just want to send you love and kisses, and that we're here. We'll be back in New York Wednesday and Florida Saturday, and I want you to use the apartment. It would be a joy to share this.
Oh, I definitely will.
You got it.
And how's the weather there now?
It's not too bad. It's 56 degrees. They're surprised. They said it's a very warm winter.
Yeah.
But it's such a civilized town.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on.
By the way, you very, like me, rarely do you make a mistake. But I watched, one of the tapes you sent me with the excerpts from Midnight Blue.
Yeah.
And the one where you were talking about Amsterdam and what a great country it is.
Yes.
Amsterdam is a city, not a country. I don't want to get confused. The Netherlands, Holland, it's got 2 names. But last time I checked, Amsterdam was only a city. But only that we had a country, the whole country would be like that.
I know, but with a joint in my mouth, I didn't care.
Yeah, that's true.
How are you feeling?
In most of that movie, you'd see your mouth on something else, but I don't want to get into it.
We don't want to talk about that.
No, we don't.
I'll be back in town next week. I hope to see you.
In fact, that's when I had a relapse. I was feeling pretty good, and then I put that video in just to see what it was all about. And watching you apply that tongue, and sir, watching Al Goldstein having any kind of a sexual experience is such a gross out, man. You lose your appetite for months.
Well, gross out. He's never heard his bit.
Wait a minute. You never heard, just a second.
That's a gay club, you moron.
You see, you're talking. Will you listen?
That's a gay club, you moron. You're looking for glory holes.
No, the guide to dumping.
I know.
Mr. Al Goldstein presents The Art of Taking a Dump.
Oh, what I like to do is place a TV tray in front of me when I go. Gives me a way of expediting the food I enjoy. I have my cornflakes today. Corn is good. It goes right through. It also helps to have a few pictures of Gloria Leonard around. But what I truly enjoy is the luxury of bathroom acoustics. I always keep a karaoke machine nearby. This way I can enjoy the acoustics when I sing. Farting and pooping and splatting and splooping, spewing and spraying and straining my heart. Don't care if it's real or a fart. So when you have to make, don't hold it in. When I gotta do sanitation and moving, festooning my boobies, yeah. And if I feel good when I'm through, that's a healthy. That's a healthy.
How do you like that?
That's wonderful, Neil Rogers.
What a great tribute to Al Goldstein.
Next week I'll see you at the track. Maybe I'll win some money. Fat Rich stole $200.
Oh, he never gave you the he never gave you the money back?
He never did. He spent it on food.
Okay.
Neil, thank you.
Take care of yourself. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Go smoke some for us. Al Goldstein in Amsterdam, talk about dangerous, or at least they don't have any good food there. He'll find it.
How can I help you?
Yeah, calling for the restaurant for sale?
Yeah,
What's your name?
Patrick.
Patrick?
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to talk to someone named Fu.
Who?
Fu.
Okay, hold on just a second, okay?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, who's speaking?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Who's speaking?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
You got restaurant for sale?
Uh-huh.
How much you want for restaurant?
Well, you come here to look at it and talk to the boss.
I come over, maybe eat dinner with you.
Okay.
Does that price include all the walks?
Huh?
Huh?
什么？
怎么到说？
You Chinese?
Yeah, Chinese.
Okay, you come over. 对，同老板讲啊。
怎么讲？讲
2点半了哈。
讲应该讲啊。
啊？
讲。
2点半哈。
2点半了。Okay, how about I get order to go and then I come over, pick it up and look at restaurant?
Okay.
Okay? What you have?
You know, 你知道在哪里没有？
讲。
你知道哪里啊？
你要去哪
？31, 35 South Main Hall.
我讲啊。
啊？
讲我讲啊。Okay, I'll be right there.
Okay.
我现在打完讲。
等你来同老板讲哈。
打打。
啊？
讲拜。
Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Neil?
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Okay.
Hopefully I turn out better than the others. Neil, you've been getting a lot of tickets like everybody else at speed traps, and I just got 3 of them.
I've been doing what?
Getting a lot of tickets.
No, I have not. I haven't had a ticket in years.
Well, you talk about it a lot. Speed
Yeah.
traps and the cops.
I talk about it a lot because I don't think that that's law enforcement is having speed traps.
Yeah,
that
I
to me
agree.
is not law enforcement.
I agree with you. I get them all the time. But what would you say if I gave you a suggestion how you yourself could change the system?
Yeah.
If you would promote, because you ever go down the road and see a speed trap, and
Yeah.
somebody in the opposite direction has the headlights on blinking and warning
Right,
you?
which is against the law, by the way.
It is?
Uh-huh.
How about just putting your headlights on?
Well, that's okay.
But if you would promote something like that.
I mean, it's against the law, but we all should be doing it. I always have promoted that.
You did.
And the cop will pull you over and give you a ticket for that, too, by the way. They get very pissed off if you do that.
What law is that broken, though?
Huh?
They just can't give you a ticket because they feel like it. What statute is that?
Who knows? I have no idea. Because you're screwing with their game, don't you understand? They resent that. That's why they resent me, because I've been talking for weeks now about the silly stop sign police in Plantation and about the radar traps on Hiatus Road. So now they're taking it out on me, and now they're going to take it out on everybody else because they're pissed off over there. Somebody peed in their coffee at the food spot, I guess.
Yeah.
For as long as I can remember on this show, we've done these pig reports where people call in and they tell us wherever there are speed traps. We put it right on the air. That's the best thing that I could do, and we will continue doing it.
How would they be able to give you a ticket, though, just for putting a headlight on?
You're asking me? Who knows? All I know is that they do threaten. They have pulled people over. They make them psychotic because for whatever reason they say that you're not supposed to do that. Just like they say that you're supposed to wear the seatbelt, and they say that you're not supposed to pick your nose with the index finger of your right hand, only your left. Have a great day, sir. Put on my seatbelt yesterday when I left here for the first time in a long time, just to see what it was like wearing a seatbelt. I don't like it. I hate it. It's very constricting. It's very uncomfortable. But, of course, in this town, since most people are... See, this is like the guy that called from Massachusetts yesterday about what Jerry Williams did on the radio years ago, and he got the seatbelt law repealed, and the federal government intimidated them and made them put it back in, reinstate the law. The government's got no business, sweetheart, telling you what to do inside your car any more than they have to tell you what to do inside your house. The only thing they can tell you what to do inside your house is you don't, beat up your pets or your kids or your wife or anybody else, because that affects somebody else. And just like the example I used yesterday, the government telling you what kind of toilet paper you got to use or which hand to wipe with, it's no different. Oh, but it's for your safety. No, it's not for your safety. It's just another way that you give up freedom and let the government intrude where they have no business. How about letting the government send inspectors to your house at night to see who's doing what in the bedrooms, huh? I don't see a hell of a lot of difference. It's none of their business. It's insurance company bullcrap. It's revenue-raising bullcrap. And you cops in Plantation, I got news for you. I'm wearing my seatbelt. Aren't I? Hell, yes, I am. And I understand I wasn't even home last night. I understand there was a Plantation porker parked right in the corner and pulled somebody over for not coming to a full stop at the stop sign there right by my house. Right by the house. What a coincidence. Doesn't faze me in the least. And this obnoxious, arrogant prick that called his show on Friday, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's this Hilgenfeldt guy. Because his quotes, you know, the more I read, I got this one little column from yesterday's or Monday's paper, and the more I read, and there's one line, in many cases, Hilgenfeldt said, the people who complain the loudest about terrible drivers are the same ones who later get ticketed. Who could he be referring to? Yeah. Who is he referring to? The people who complain the loudest about bad drivers? Who is that? You open your window. Do you hear anybody out there complaining? Later get ticketed. See, I hate to break the news to you, Sergeant, whatever your name is, Captain, Sergeant, no time for sergeants, but I happen to be a damn good driver and a safe and responsible driver. And even though I got a car that'll go very, very fast, I don't drive very, very fast. And yes, I do resent when people go by me. There are a couple of things that really piss me off. Number one, when I'm trying to go close to the speed limit and somebody is right on my ass, tailgating because they're trying to push me because I'm not going fast enough to suit them. And if I'm speeding, if I'm going 7 miles over the speed limit and they're right on my ass because I'm not going fast enough for them, I'm not getting a ticket to make them happy, okay? Tough crap. If you want to pass me around 2 double yellow lines, go right ahead and take your chances, baby. But I'm not speeding up to make you happy. And the other thing is when I'm going like 52 and a 45 on Sunrise and some asshole like George goes by me 75 miles an hour on Sunrise Boulevard, that really frosts my ass.
I go with the flow. I was only going that
when I'm going
nobody else
65
on the road.
or when I'm going 70 on the turnpike where the speed limit is 65, and that's about what I drive, around 70 in a 65. There's nothing wrong with that. And somebody goes by me going 95 miles an hour, and I never, ever see any of those people get it. It pisses me off because those people are a menace. You people are crazy. And yes, you should be getting tickets, but the problem is they're not the ones who get the tickets, baby. The ones who get the speeding tickets are the ones that get caught in all these little radar traps that we set up. So don't give me a song and a dance about you're trying to save lives and you're trying to condition people. The drunks continue driving drunk and getting their licenses back, and the chronic high speeders continue driving 85, 90, 100 miles an hour. And you know it and I know it. So go freshen up the coffee at the food spot in Plantation and cut the crap, because you're not fooling me, you're not fooling anybody else, and you're sure as hell not intimidating me. You can make as many phone calls to this show as you want. Doesn't faze me in the least. But I'll be wearing my seatbelt. Slow down in Plantation, by the way. You don't want to get no tickets, and buckle up your seatbelts and make a full stop and sit there for about half an hour at the stop sign. And guess what? They still don't have the light working at 118th Avenue and Sunrise Boulevard. The light's still flashing there. Useless. Useless as teats on a caterpillar. That's how worthwhile that light is there. But, we don't want all these fatalities. Well, then how about getting that light working, okay? And one thing I will say, since I do give credit where credit is due, and see, one of the reasons they're ticked off, the Plantation cops, is they had a great thing going there for months. Even back when we were still on the air in Paxton. Remember I used to talk about that 30-mile-an-hour thing, the construction thing on Sunrise, and they would just sit there writing business. And you had no way of knowing where it stopped or where it started. That's one of the famous scams with construction zones, is you really can't be sure where it stops and where it ends. And there was no reason for there most days, even days when there was no construction going on, 30 miles an hour. So they're upset because they finally did a great construction job there. And, there was some inconvenience to those of us who live out there in West Broward, but you know something? They did a hell of a job, the DOT or whoever it is that, we rarely give anybody credit. They did a fine job. And Sunrise Boulevard now is a wide 6-lane highway out there all the way to where the arena's going to be. It's a Mahia, man. Nice job, guys. All they got to do is put the reflectors down. That'll be all done. And fix that stoplight and make it work. But that's one of the reasons that they got to do all this other business, is because that was like shooting fish in a barrel, man. That was a piece of cake. Who's going to be going 30 miles an hour on a 4-lane, a big 4 or 5-lane, whatever the hell it was at the time, highway, especially on a road where George is going 70 miles an hour? There's the one you want to get after, is George Rodriguez, okay, all you Plantation porkers and wherever else in Sunrise you're driving. Where is it? Fort Lauderdale? What part of Sunrise?
Like University and Sunrise.
Yeah, Plantation. There you go. There's one for you. In his beige Toyota 4Runner, okay? He's going 70 miles an hour this thick. What?
It's Desert Dune.
It's Puce.
License number.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Yesterday I'm driving home after all this hocking and China about these cops and all this bull crap, and I'm driving home on the turnpike, and here's an asshole in a green van, and he's like, I'm in the middle lane on the turnpike, he's in the left-hand lane. He's about to go by me, but of course he sees the car. Obviously he knows who it is, and now he hits the brake, and he sits out there, and he kind of backs up, and like he's looking over my shoulder. Was I wearing my seatbelt?
No.
No, I was not. But I am wearing my seatbelt now. For all you plantation porkers, I don't want to, give you an easy target.
I want to invent a new product. It's just a sash that looks like a seatbelt, and you just put it on and sit down, and it looks like you wear it.
That's not a new product.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's not.
Oh, sorry. See if I'd have called that.
Now, when do I get one of those? Yeah, you get one. See, there, not only does he go 70 miles an hour on Sunrise, right in the middle of Plantation there by University in his Puce Desert Dune 4Runner, but he's also advocating violent wild lawbreakers. He's the one, not me. I'm the safe driver. He and Fat Rich are the two maniacs. There's a man that drives 90 miles an hour in a school zone. That's how fast he goes. This man is out of control. The fat man. Well, he's fat. He's got a, heavy foot. Which, by the way, my foot is still killing me. I think I need acupuncture from that quack proctologist and those magnets that I talked about the first day I came back out of here. Here it's the end of February coming up now, and the bottom of my right heel is still no different, no change. Not getting worse, not getting any better. Nothing in there. They x-rayed, nothing in there. And, of course, that great podiatrist over there at Cleveland Clinic. Nice chatting with you, pal. Nice knowing that Jeff Clark is your brother-in-law, but nothing. Oh, yeah, well, you got to do those stretching exercises. Yeah, stretch this. Still the same. Maybe I could get an acupuncturist to come in here. Do you think so? Do they do acupuncture on your foot?
Why not?
Yeah, I guess. Because your foot is like, calloused. It's hard. I mean,
it's not supposed to make a difference.
Really?
It's not supposed to hurt. It's not supposed to hurt.
Oh, I see. But it does. It's not supposed to hurt when the plantation cops beat the crap out of you either next time you're going 70 miles an hour, but it will.
This is Sports Radio 560 QAM. Only one South Florida radio station has the hammer, and you're listening to it at Goldberg, weekday afternoons at 2. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Sports! I think I'm going to start talking sports. Maybe we'll take a week and I'll just talk sports for 1 week and see if we can search for one caller that has any clue what they're talking about. Just amazing to me. Just an ongoing, just words, just verbiage, ba 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 ba. And like George said during the break, he said it's baby crap, and that's the exact expression to use for baby crap. Like all these people calling in, like this is something that's meaningful in anybody's life. Who showed up at the White House yesterday? Not did the Iraqi ambassador show up to see if we're going to avoid a war over there. Not if the president's lawyer showed up to see if he's going to wind up being impeached or not. But did all of the Marlins show up there at the White House yesterday? This is important. Virginia. Miami, hello.
Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You're talking about your anniversary, 22 years in the business.
Yes.
It's, I was arguing semantics with a friend of mine. And it's not really an opinionated answer. I mean, it's fact somewhere. When you were bought out, your contract.
Yeah.
We were arguing that I was saying you were unemployed. He was saying you were still employed by the people.
Of course I wasn't unemployed. I was being paid to go on vacation. I wasn't unemployed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were, like I said, arguing semantics. You weren't working, correct?
Yeah, right.
That was basically what I was.
Well, what's the point? What difference does it make what you call it? I'd like to be unemployed like that the rest of my life.
So I was unemployed.
Huh?
You were employed.
Let me say it again. I was not unemployed. I was employed. I just didn't have to show up. I got a check. I came and picked up a check every week. You can't be unemployed and get paid.
Well, no. Do they consider that employed? That's my
question.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I figured it was something like
Have a great day, pal. Oh, my God. Oh, the world is coming to an end with that call right there. That's it. That's the end. I actually had a feeling for about an hour and a half today that we were going to make it today, that we really were going to have a show. We're going to have some real zippity-doo-dah, some real people on this phone. Forget it. I mean, talk about get a life. Well, it's really semantic. Yeah, semantics. People that argue semantics are people in desperate search of a life. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good old story. When I first came down here, right out of college to become a school teacher, I went downtown Miami, and I crossed the street there and came on out, and as I came out and crossed the street again, there was a cop there.
Yeah.
And he said, "You jaywalking?" And I said, "Jaywalking?" And he pointed a sign out. Sure enough, there's a sign that says jaywalking. So I said, "Okay, well, I guess you have to give me a ticket." So he says, "Let me see your license." I said, "Well, I'm walking. I'm not driving. You don't need to see my license." So he says, "Is this your car?" And I said, "Yeah, but I'm not driving it." And he says, "Well, it's parked at an expired meter." I said,
"Oh, my
okay,
God.
well, I guess you got to give me a ticket for that." So he gives me a ticket for jaywalking. He said, "You crossed the street when you went in?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Okay." So he gave me 2 jaywalking tickets. Then he gave me an expired meter ticket. Then he gave me a ticket because there was a construction sign next to the car. And he gave me a ticket for parking in a restricted zone. And then since I refused to give him my driver's license, he gave me a ticket for no license, handcuffed me, had my car towed, and took me to jail. Went to court a couple days later. The judge read the thing, called me up, called the cop up. He said to the cop, he said, "First of all, you're going to pay for his car that you towed. Secondly, you're going to reimburse him for his time, and if I ever see you come into my court with this kind of crap again, I'm going to get you off the force.
Oh! Great story, sir.
That was it.
Congratulations. Don't do it again. Okay. How do you like that? See, that cop was one of those pricks that I'm talking about who gets into it so he can browbeat people. And there are plenty of those. If you're visiting, if you're one of the snowbirds down here and you're tuned in today by accident and wondering what it's all about, this is what this town is all about, okay? It's a bunch of dead people walking around, a bunch of dead people driving. It's a bunch of people go blah, 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 and they move their lips a lot. They don't say too much. They don't have an opinion about anything. And yet somehow I've survived 22 years in the midst of all of this. How is that possible? How in God's name is that possible? Man, oh man, I was thinking about that the other day, thinking about surviving 22 years with a bunch of deadheads. And the minute that thought came to my mind, I pooped my pants. Oh, God, I just let loose. 22 years of frustration, of trying to coerce, of force people to say something, have an opinion, get some passion. There is no passion. That's the thing that is lacking in this town is passion. It doesn't exist. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Pain in the ass cop story for you.
Oh, yeah.
Coconut Creek PD. All right, I'm going up Lyons Road, seatbelt on, 3 or 4 miles an hour over the speed limit. 2 motorcycle cops. One of them shooting his thing. I didn't think nothing of it. One of them, all of a sudden, I look at my rear view. I go past him, look at my rear view. One of them's behind me. So what did I do? So he pulls me over. I asked him, I said, what did I do?
How fast were you going?
About 3 or 4 over.
3 or 4 miles over the speed limit?
So let me finish. So he says, the tint on your windshield extends too far down the windshield. I said, whoa, wait a minute. I said, and Neil, get this. It's factory tint. It comes from the factory that way. It's inside the glass.
God. Oh.
So he writes me a ticket.
A ticket for what?
For, what was it?
Because your thing is too long?
Yeah, the thing was too long. So he writes me a ticket.
I'll never get a ticket for that.
So then, now listen to this. Not only do I have to pay the ticket, but I have to bring the car to Coconut Creek PD to prove that I complied with whatever.
Oh, my
I gotta go put a new windshield in the car.
Oh, my God.
I swear to God. Unbelievable.
There you go. I rest my case, pal.
In closing?
And you're paying a salary, yeah.
Yes, sir. In closing?
Yes. Okay, let's take Boynton Beach. Hello.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
The people, I don't envy your position. These people have been sitting here, God knows why, for about a half an hour waiting for you. The guy with
6 minutes and 6 seconds.
The guy with Price Fister? What the hell was he talking about?
I haven't got any idea.
Oh!
I think he was talking about Mark Forsyth.
I swear to God I was going to hang up after him. But
or Farrah Fawcett.
Short
Ever
time.
see Farrah Fawcett?
I love Farrah Fawcett. Not now. I used to. But anyway, wanted to mention
She was never the same after she got beat up by that intruder that time with a spray. Remember? And she tied him up and put him in the fireplace. What was the name of that movie, George? Oh, that was a good movie.
Extremities.
She's an ugly bitch now.
She is
So anyway.
now. Well, he beat the crap out of her.
Hockey.
Yeah.
Teaser. I played college hockey, love hockey. Unfortunately, a Ranger fan. A few other things. South Florida. I moved down here about 2 years ago.
Now you're talking boring.
From Boston.
Oh,
Boston
my
and from Long
God.
Island. It's terrible here. And Miami is the armpit of the United States. It's the
Yeah.
worst place to be. South Beach, a bunch of weirdos down there.
Yeah, a bunch of drug addicts, a bunch of posers, yeah, muscle-bound posing fags, yeah.
And these cars with the Matchbox wheels that stick out 10 feet,
Uh-huh.
and the shorts down in the middle of their ass crack.
Right.
Religion is another thing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a first-time caller, last-time caller, because I don't have time to call you. But I want to get a few more things off my chest.
Go ahead.
Religion, I totally agree with you. I laughed in the car. It is the biggest bunch of crap.
Yeah.
The Bible is a fictional story. I could see the guys writing the Bible way back when, all drunk around the table laughing,
Right.
telling stories.
Well, I mean, people have been inventing gods and messiahs, all this crap. It's been going on since the beginning of time. And anybody who's got even a tiny ability to think for himself or herself knows that and would just laugh at this crap. But the sad part of it is that people don't want to think.
You get chastised, that's why, if you say anything today. And anyway, I have a tribute to all the women out there.
Okay.
I had a heterosexual. I love women, but this women power bullshit that's going on right now, what the hell is that all about?
Okay. Thank you, pal. Okay, he said crap, and I just, he's getting a little worked up. I left him on there, but, bull crap is right, sir, but you can't say shot. You can take one, but you can't say it. Because this is America, and after all, just like the things I brought up about the T-shirt police, got almost no response about that. See, you people are so conditioned. I mean, the cop who called Friday was right about that. We want to condition you to doing fill in the blank, to being nice and obedient, and whatever it is, we're going to condition you. Even if you shouldn't have to be doing this, we're going to condition you to doing this. Because we decided that you can't wear a T-shirt that says this, and you can't have a bumper sticker that says that. Here's a mobile in Sunrise. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing today?
Great.
You know what ticks us all off, Neil, is the fact that you have these cops working overtime by the sawgrass. You know, you're supposed to stick the 50 cents in those at Oakland Park and Commercial, and they get you if you don't stick the 50 cents in the little hole there. These cops are working on OT.
Uh-huh.
This is the most amazing thing, that a cop is getting paid to even do these things.
Well, listen, pay the 50 cents and cut the crap. You know what that reminds me of? Oh, I think it was yesterday. I should have brought it in. There was a letter to the editor from some old fart. You could tell he was an old fart by the nature of the letter. And this guy was complaining because he had gotten a ticket. He went through the toll booth like at the Turnpike or somewhere, and the arm was stuck up in the air, and the green light was stuck in the on position. So he just goes through. He doesn't put in his 50 cents or 75 cents because the green light is on. And then he's bellyaching that he gets a ticket. Well, guess what, pal? Just because the thing is stuck doesn't mean it's an invitation to just go right through, you asshole.
Oh, I thought it was a free day.
Yeah, right. It's like that salad dressing, free. I'll never forget that if I live to be 500. And I didn't make this up. It's a true goddamn story. Several years ago, I'm in my Publix over there. It's got to be like 4 or 5 years ago. And this old bag is in front of me in line. And, of course, she's making a big to-do. She's got like 6 items on there. And every one is a big, oh, how much is this? Bada-beep, bada-boop. And then the girl takes, the bottle of Kraft salad dressing and puts it through the scanner there. And the woman says, wait a minute, what'd you do that for? And the girl looks at her, what do you mean? She says, it says right on the bottle, free. Fat-free, you stupid, old, disgusting, obnoxious, idiotic, God.
That fucking bitch.
Free. So why didn't she get 20 or 30 of them, by the way? Only in Florida, baby. Only in this town. Only where the living people are really dead masquerading.
This is Sports Radio 560, WQAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560, QAM.
My friends, I believe it's time this country had some moral Christian leadership. And for that, I need your checks and money orders. Friends, I can assure you I know what's best for you.
Good little Christians trying to run our lives with red balls in their mouth on Friday night. Good little Christians spewing their hate around and power grabbing for a new third right. Good little Christians brainwashing all their kids, grow up believing fairy tales are true. Why do you have to read the world they always told you to? Their business needs checks from you, got their marketing too. Good little Christians, forgiven instantly. That's why they never have to tell the truth. Good little Christians, married to shepherd wives. They like to swap and swing in cheap hotels. Good little Christians, protecting us from ourselves, from rings of fire in the depths of hell.
Follow your friends, for I know the way. This time, let me guide you down the primrose path of ignorance.
We got the Marlins and the Devil Rays. Oh, my God, the Devil Rays. Remember all those yahoos in Tampa when they first, and there's another example of how sanity prevailed. Something as marginal as baseball, as a game. And these yahoos over there were having a nervous breakdown about the name. They were going to boycott the team, and they were going to force them to change the name. And guess what? They didn't force them to change the name, and they're still the goddamn Tampa Devil Rays. And because they're an expansion team, maybe they'll be a team that maybe the Marlins can compete with. Who knows? But there you go. Another example of narrow-minded people. Oh, you can't say that. Well, guess what? They did. It's right on the uniforms. The Devil Rays. The devil made him do it. Just like this Baptist leader who said the devil made him do it. The Reverend Henry Lyons, embattled leader of one of the nation's largest religious groups, was charged Wednesday with transgressions generally associated with mobsters rather than clergymen, racketeering and grand theft. State prosecutors charged Lyons, 55, of St. Petersburg, oh, the devil did make him do it, with engaging in a systematic scheme to steal at least $330,000 from several organizations and corporations, including the Anti-Defamation League, a Jewish group. Oh, I shouldn't be talking about that. This guy's black. Sorry. See, and that's that racist thing in me coming out again.
Put it back in.
Okay, I'll put it back in.
Yeah, man.
Just like when I was talking about the soccer game tying up all the traffic, there were some assholes calling in, oh, that's a racial thing, man. If it was I wouldn't give a crap where they were from, okay? Take your soccer and blow it out your ass. If it was all the Dutch team on there tying up the highway that night, unless, of course, they were handing out free weed, because they got much better weed than the Jamaicans.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, they do. Here's a payphone in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm up in Broward, and I got the other rag, and just to go along with some of the education thing, one of their main headline today had to do about they have an equivalency test if you can't pass classes in school, and they graded them wrong, so 67 or so pupils who didn't pass got notified that they were passing. They don't want to hurt these kids' feelings,
right?
So they passed them all. They can't even pass an equivalency test.
Social promotion, baby. That's what it'd be all about. We don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. We don't want people in school when they're 45 years old.
Right. It doesn't say much for the people who graded the test either.
Well, they probably failed it too, man. They did just another line of succession. Thanks for the good news, sir. The dumbing of America, like I told you. And here we got a bunch of bright kids who are like honor students, many of them. And, oh, yeah, let's have them arrested because we don't like this pamphlet they wrote. That was probably very, it was bizarre and off the wall. I still haven't seen it. Robert Steinbeck saw it, and like he said, he was ready to write a scathing, hostile column attacking those kids and how grotesque this stuff was and irresponsible. And he saw it, and he said, hey, some of it was pretty amusing. And what's the big simus here? And cut the crap, and don't be putting no kids in jail. If they got guns, if they're, doing aberrant stuff, then put their ass in jail. They're disrupting their goddamn class, then kick them out of school, then suspend them and expel them. But oh no, as long as they don't say anything we don't like, then we'll just keep passing them right along there and give them a diploma. See, and like I said, we're all this racial talk here today, and now that I look at this thing, and of course this is my initial instinct anyway, it's not a racial issue. I mean, there's a lot of racial tensions at Killian High, and they've had a lot of problems over the last several years with race at Killian High, but that's not what this is all about. And that's what people are turning it into, including assholes like Art Teitelbaum at the ADL. This man, I'm going to tell you, Art Teitelbaum to me is just beyond description. This town has got about a handful of people, and every time some issue comes up, they either go to Bob Kunst or Art Teitelbaum or some of these same old tired hacks that have been hanging around this town, making a lifelong career of being agent provocatorum, and that's basically all they are. Oh, yes, this is very provocative, and it's way beyond the line, and we better investigate. Investigate what? What the hell is there to investigate? The Revenge of the Nerds? I mean, and a bunch of cartoons in here?
Viagra. Whoa, Viagra. Make my grow. Acorn has blue, it fills up my fruit of the loo. I remember when it was inverted and wrinkled, it shriveled like a tiny complete screw. Just a limpy and shrimpy and inverted button mushroom. Now it's big as a nuclear cucumber pickle up and they are functioning too. Viagra. Whoa. Viagra. Made by grow. Now that I can get it back up, there's nothing more than oil to cut. Yeah, on my long and lumbering butt. Yeah, my lumber is way too much.
By the way, you see that they're not satisfied with this one because it takes an hour to kick in the Viagra pill. Didn't you see the story on that? So now, and this is a true story, people are going to say I'm making this up. They're getting together, the group of doctors and Pfizer and whoever else, and they're going to have a wafer for instant within just a matter of minutes. What you do is, no, seriously, I'm not making this up. You put the wafer in your mouth, you suck on it for just a short time, and it gets bigger.
And you have to go to your priest for that?
I didn't say that kind of a wafer. And I didn't say who was going to be sucking on what, okay? I said you suck on it for a little while and it gets bigger. And then getting back to the Viagra, okay. Here's a fax that says Peter Bolger is the #1 first-class flaming asshole. Oh! Well, we knew that. God. And a liar, and a bullcrap artist, and a know-nothing, and a corporate ass-sucker, and a real piece of turd. That's right. We don't want the Lawrence Welk Show on this day. That's right. You and Harry Penis and Walter Sabo have a great time with those old jingles. And John Ford, too, by the way. Throw him in there. Throw him in the mix. Here's Coral Gables. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Great.
Maybe do you want to hear an update on the Vatican incident?
Yes.
Okay, actually, this could go down as the Roman version of the O.J. Simpson incident.
They went down at the Vatican?
Yeah.
There's no fact in the church.
Yeah.
This guy that was murdered was an officer from Switzerland, and he was assigned the day before as the highest officer for the Vatican Army.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that a non-Italian
Swiss Guard, yeah.
became the highest ranking officer. But the weird thing about this whole situation was his wife, who happened to live in Venezuela, also was killed. And there was a young officer, maybe 22, 23, also found in the melee. So in actuality, there were 3 people killed. So how about that? Huh?
Killed by whom?
But they don't know yet.
Yes, they do.
Oh. Okay, well, he's gone. Why don't you tell us who it was?
The newly appointed
the dog done it?
Captain
Must have been a pit
Chief
bull.
El General of the Swiss Guard, the newly appointed one, the one that tried to save the Pope when the last attempt on his life was made, was newly appointed. One of the other Swiss
it's on CNN right now. They're showing the Pope, and they're showing his window. And look at that. There's Lee Harvey Oswald. Oh, no, it's Jack Ruby. Yeah, and?
One of the other Swiss Guardsmen apparently had a
Oh,
problem.
no, it was James Earl Ray.
Killed
there's
him.
Rome. I know where that is right there. That's right by the Spanish Steps. There's Roma. That wasn't at the Vatican. That was right by the Spanish Steps, that scene. Anyway, go ahead. And there's Il Vaticano.
Killed the newly appointed captain and his wife, and then shot himself.
For what?
I guess he didn't like the guy. Or maybe God told him.
So why do
to.
we care about this? We got my story here with these ratings coming out. This is the big, and you're telling me about some Swiss guards over there and a guy
I don't care about it.
Il Vaticano? And a bunch of crazy goyim over there in the Vatican, like that's a news story? Is that something new, crazy goyim in the Vatican?
No.
Come on.
Were you fudge packing him? Start licking.
People are watching. Women are staring, their green blues and V's. But I'm not sharing. Some say his brain left. Not much on talking, not much to look at. But I ain't looking. He smells just a little too much. His eyes are a little too close. His nose is just a little too long. But while they're groaning, I will be moaning, darling. He's got a really big trouser trout. The girls would scream if he let it out. He's got a really big trouser trout. I'm fishing for love. He's got a really big trouser trout. That boy can make me just twist and shout. He's got a really big trouser trout. I'm fishing for love.
All right.
He's got a really big trouser trout.
I've just received some of the most disturbing information in the history of my life. I may have to blow my brains out with somebody else's.
He's got a really big trouser trout. Fishing for love.
I'm speechless. Sam, our promotion man, was just in here, and he said, let me take a look at that picture of Enrique in the magazine there. And while he was looking at the picture, saying, yeah, he looks pretty good, he was telling me the story about when I was on one of my many, many trips during the 7 months that I was doing the Limbo Rock between stations. And Enrique's concert was coming up at the Miami Arena, which I was also out of town the weekend that it took place, and they were very distraught about that. But the first time that they called the house, my mother was at the house dog-sitting. And I thought it was Enrique's secretary, the girl from the orifice, who called. And because George said to me, Enrique called the house offering you tickets for the concert and bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-ba. Come to find out that they were on a speakerphone and that his secretary made him place the call, but he was sitting there listening. And when my mother answered the phone, he was too embarrassed to say, his Neil, he didn't know what to say. How come he just didn't say,
Neil, God!
That would have sufficed. I am so psychotic at this point in my life. I just don't think I can continue. Go home. Really. And George is sitting in there, and for all the knocking that he's done of Enrique, he's I would like to be him. You'd like to be him.
Yeah. Rich and tall.
No, you'd like to be him specifically. You'd like
no,
to
not
be
him. I just like
No,
him.
you said you'd like to be him. Don't try to retract it now, mister. You'd like to be him. You'd like to be in his body.
Could I stay
And I wouldn't
straight?
mind being in his body either.
Could I maintain my sexuality?
Well, what does that mean? Are you saying that Enrique is some kind of a fruitcake? He's Latino. He's a real Latin man, okay? He likes anything that feels good.
He's a Spaniard.
Like I said, believe me. We have an open line in Dade, 567-0560 and pound 560 on the mobile one line. So I blew my chance, baby. I blew it. Here's Cooper City. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, hey, my name is Donald, right? And I really listen to your radio station like for
We don't do names, sir.
half
We
an
don't
hour.
do names. There's only one personality on this show. We don't do names.
Hello?
Sir, I'm listening. Are you listening to what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Well, the only way you can hear what I'm saying is to stop talking and listen. I said we don't do names on this show. There's only one celebrity on the show, and you're talking to him. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, check this out.
Yeah.
Man, I think when your radio station is so dumb, man. You need to stop those swearing in the radio station, all right, and get a life, okay?
So this is the number one show in town, sir, by a far, by a million miles. Number one.
I
Number
listen to
one in town.
I listen to the radio station, right?
What?
I listen to radio station, right?
What radio station?
1170, FM.
So then what are you listening to this? So what are you listening to this station for? Are you being held, sir? Are you being held hostage? Is somebody holding you hostage and forcing you to listen right now? Sir, read my lips. Is somebody forcing you to listen right now?
Listen, man, you need to
Sir,
get out
can
the
you
radio,
answer
okay?
can you answer the question? Is somebody forcing you to listen?
No, but I mean,
Then
you
why
need to
are
get out
you
the radio and
listening?
get a
Why
job,
are you
okay?
Then turn on a station you like, okay? Or better yet, get on a banana boat and go back where you came from, all right?
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Another geek. Wonder what kind of a little brown car he drives. Here's a mobile in Hialeah. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Neil.
How are you?
I was listening that you were saying that women don't call.
No, I didn't say that. I said women don't listen, and they also don't call, but they don't
Yes,
listen.
they do. I have a lot of friends that
Well,
they
they must
listen.
be in the closet.
They're embarrassed to call. I'm not embarrassed to tell you I love your show.
Good for you.
And all my friends listen, let me tell you.
Thank God.
Oh, by the way, let me tell you something. I'm not a fag. That's in Forest Lake. I want to say that. Those guys are always saying they're not fags.
Yeah.
I want to say, Donald, you're a fag. I think he used to be a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
They probably stuck something up his rectum because he sure looks like a fag to me.
Okay. That'll do it every time, especially if it's a corn cob. Oh, boy.
No, they told me he was a Boy Scout. You know what they say about Boy Scouts.
Do you know
Always
Enrique?
get stuck up the rectum.
Do you know Enrique Iglesias?
Yeah, he looks good, right?
Yeah, he does look
You
good.
like him, right?
Let's go over and see him.
I heard you today.
Okay, sweetheart.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you go. We got a nice lady there in Hialeah. She's dying to get out of that place, but of course they won't let her out. And thank God we have no poverty. Remember that letter I read that day about no corruption and no poverty in Hialeah? And that was one of those God people. Another one of those crazy God people, one of those religious nuts peddling bullcrap. Let me say it again. There's 1,000 people live in the Vatican. There's like 4 or 5 million people live in Rome. There's only 1,000 people live in the Vatican, including the Pope and all his boyfriends. And it's a country. It's a country. And they got their own little army there. They got the Swiss Guard with their little dresses and their cute little outfits. That's right. And they have to swing the right way in order to get into that outfit. You know what I'm talking about? They have to swing just exactly the right way.
There's no fags in the church.
No, they're all busy at in Vatican City. They're not in the church. They're all busy at the Vatican, catering to the needs of all those guys in their dresses. How is it possible that there are still people so stupid that they're lending tangible to support to corrupt horse crap like that? Is it ever going to end?
No.
Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Carlos, new listener, first time caller.
Buenos dias, Carlos.
How you doing, buddy?
Great.
I was talking, I heard you talking about education and all that stuff, I'm from Jersey, and
Well, they don't have any there either.
well, it's a lot better than down here.
Yeah.
I mean, the teacher per
Except for the
student
enrollment.
ratio is about 35 kids per teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a real bummer.
Yeah, well, we're too busy building stadiums, Carlos. We don't care about no education.
I guess I agree
This
with
is not a place for kids or people who want an education. It's a place for people over the age of 100 who want to go to early bird dinners, and a place for people like Wayne with a bald-headed geek. That's all. That's what. No, what are you laughing at? That's what this place is. It's an outdoor funeral parlor, Carlos.
Right.
Haven't you been here long enough to figure that out?
Well, I like it though,
The weather is pleasant, but other than that, this place is the end of the universe. This is hell. This is purgatory.
Right.
This is where you go just before they send you to Trenton.
Holy shit.
Right. If this yellow button were seated any lower in here, and I certainly hope it did work that time, didn't it, Joe? Joe Mama? Joe's out eating pizza loft or something. Well, no, I'm just saying that this dump button is seated so low in here that even if you push down on it with all the might of an hairy elefante, you really can't be sure if it's doing anything. We don't want to get George Corso involved because we know he's very, very busy fixing Bob McKay's hairpiece.
Wake up with the first team, Joe Rose, Jeff DeForest, and Steve Goldstein. Weekday mornings at 6, only on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Neil Rogers got.
Neil, God.
If he wants me to sing God Bless America and Pasties and a G-string up here, I'll do it. All right.
Hookers, even though they're not good lookers, and young girls who dress way too smutty. KKKs who hate the gays and guys who hate what their wives weigh. They're all just a little bit nutty. You own a Duke of Hazzard shrine and you think your mother's fine, and stuff you never saw on Richard Bay. Our run is finally over. You can kiss my ass now, Oprah. We'd love to watch your show all day. And we're watching Jerry Springer every day. Can't wait for Jerry to say, boy, they fights breaking out on the show. All the time, watching Jerry Springer. Should be on prime time. Look out.
We love Jerry Springer because he's beating the crap out of that Schwarzer broad. That's why we love him. Not because she's black, because she's talentless, because she's bland and she's boring, and she's poisoning the minds and making the women of America into automatons who are reading a bunch of dumb books. But other than that, so he's got a crappy show with a bunch of trailer trash, okay? Is he the first one to do that?
No.
At least his people aren't killing each other or anybody else yet.
No.
How about Jenny Jones? How's Jenny doing, by the way? We won't see her no more. So anyway, Greg Reed was just down here with Bruce Beasley. The Beasley-Reed connection was in here, and they were like shaking my hand and pumping it, and oh man, I had to change my underwear 3 times during that commercial break. But that was nice. That was a nice gesture, because at least with Bruce Beasley, I felt like he was sincere. Great numbers, and thank you for coming here and doing it to such a mediocre place, But with Greg Reed, it's like, keep scratching that spot. Now, he's all right. Let's see if the check's clear, and then we'll proceed from there. How's George's bonus coming, by the way? Yeah, you'll see that real soon. Hey, look, one of these days. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to wind up having to be the one to pay it. I'm sure this is what's going to really happen here, and I'm not going to be real pleased about that. But, I mean, if I have to, I might. Oh, I doubt it. Not from you. Get Enrique in here, then I'll give you a big bonus. Here's Lake Worth, or him. Lake Worth, hello.
Mr. Rogers.
Yes, sir.
I think the word you're looking for is francophobia.
Francophobia? No, that's not the word I'm looking for. Yeah, that is the word. You're right. I thought that was Spaniards who wanted to get rid of Franco.
Well, only for people who travel.
Oh, okay.
I would like to talk to you today about why this is such a puritanical country.
Yes, sir. Take all the time you want.
Oh, thank you. We are what very few people know or think about. We are the only Protestant sectarian country in the world. And the Protestant sects in this country...
There's no fact in the church.
Yeah.
Exactly. The Protestant sects in this country, the Baptists, the
Protestant sects?
That's an oxymoron.
Oh, sects.
Sects, yes.
Sects? Yeah.
They differ from the church religions of Europe. The church religions of Europe are usually state-related. They're hierarchical. You're supposed to obey the bishop or the priest or whatever. You're supposed to obey the Bible.
Father O'Toole. God.
Right. Yeah. But these religions in Europe believe in original sin, that people in institutions are inherently inferior, and you shouldn't get bent out of shape when they do something wrong, because that's just the way they are. Now, the Protestant sects in this country are congregational. They're not hierarchical.
Yeah. Hierarchical? Okay.
Yes. The priest is an employee of the church. You're supposed to read the Bible and make up your own mind about it. And whatever you make up your mind out to be, you are morally obligated to carry it out. But probably the most important thing here is they don't believe in original sin. What do you call it, like
a French guy that likes little kids? Is that a Franco-pedophile? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
They don't believe in
I'm just trying to spice up what is good intentions, but it's coma-inducing. You know what I'm saying?
It's very convoluted, yes.
Yeah.
They don't believe in original sin. They believe in...
So what is the point of all of this, though? I mean, it's obviously you're preaching to the choir here. What's the point?
Well, they believe in a perfectibility. Religious people here believe in perfectibility, that you must not sin.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
And this manifests itself in all kinds of ways in our society.
Well, thank God we got a president who's straightened them all out. Thank you. What the hell was he talking about? Man, he was from Lake Worth. Well, that explains it. He was talking about hierarchical crap. But he was right. Francophobia. I like that. Francophobia. That's like Franco-American spaghetti. Here's Kendall. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
I'm a 22-year-old male, and I'm a little disappointed in the younger females in this town not being one of the main groups listening to your show. So to get these girls back, I want to sing a quick excerpt from the Titanic song in Spanish.
Okay.
Okay. Cada noche en mis sueños te veo, te siento, así es como te miro seguir. Cruando espacios igual que yo, tú vienes a verme seguir.
Me estoy muriendo aquí.
Cerca, lejos, estés donde estés. Thank you. And
increíble. Oh my God.
Quickly, I want to ask you, the new Panthers arena, are they going to have a Schloimies in there?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
I'll see ya. And a Skoogans too. We have an open line today. That was special, wasn't it? I'm getting a little quivery. Oh, here we go. What number is that? I love that bit. Which one is that on? You know the one I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't like that one?
Yeah, it's great.
I love it. It's called Sittin' So Long. Sittin', I said. Sittin' So Long is the one I'm referring to.
Romance on a cruise ship. I never got lucky on a cruise ship. I'm the only person who never got lucky on a cruise ship.
Every night at the Megaplex, I watch it, I feel it.
Boy.
I've seen that boat sink 29 times. I've inhaled 2 truckloads of popcorn, raisinets, and goobers. The movie's so long, I gotta wear depends.
That damn faggot, I can't stand it.
The first time I saw it, I left in my stretch pants. It's a good thing the seat was so absorbent. I've been sitting so long, I've got hemorrhoids the size of chihuahuas. I can't wait for the director's cut to come out.
I can't wait for the movie to end so I can watch it again. And again. And again. And again. And again. And again. And again.
I got home from a double feature. My fluttered password dead. My poodle curled up next to the empty food bin. Mounted is on the counter. They've gone. My inflatable Fabio lives. So my love will go on and on. Love will go on and on.
I can't believe it's not butter. I can't believe it's not butter.
That damn faggot, I can't stand it.
I have a feeling I'm going to be dipping into some fish food soon. What? What are you going like that for?
You're gonna die.
Yeah, well, so are you, Mr. Hotshot.
Not as quick.
Oh, I got to tell you a great story about that. 1973, I'm working at WSPB in Sarasota, and my landlord was this kind of like, I would say, 45 to 50-ish kind of a nerdy guy. He was okay. And he was just a little on the eccentric side. And he would, every time I'd get into any kind of conversation, I'd run into him, he would start hocking me a China about, well, I'm not worried about dying because they're coming up with all these great cures for everything, and by the time I'm in my 70s, they'll have people will live forever. Guess what? He's dead. He's dead! All right! Pull the hell out of you, mister. You're dead. See ya.
Maybe he'll get back.
That's right. When they dig his ass up, I'll probably be living back there in Sarasota. And hey, how you doing, Doc? Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Neil.
Yes, I am.
Me and the guys at work were hoping you could elaborate on something for us.
Yes, sir.
Glory holes.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, no, come on. You're asking me like you guys don't know what glory holes are?
Oh, yeah, but
glory holes. Yeah.
You throw it out so fast that we don't know the proper what it pertains to. Is it holes in the stall walls, or is it someone's butt?
Or is it holes in your what?
Is it someone's butthole?
Well, that could be a part of it. That would be inside the glory hole.
But both of them could be pertained as one subject.
A glory hole, I mean, a hole is a hole is a hole. You got to see the whole thing. You know what I'm talking about?
The whole picture.
Right, the whole picture. You got to get your pneumatic drill, and you got to drill a hole in that mahogany and that hard wood and that cement, whatever's in there. I said cement with a T, and that's a glory hole.
All right, so it doesn't matter what you're looking at on the other side, right?
Right.
It could be somebody sitting.
Or something that rhymes with sitting, right. That's right.
All right, Neil, I'm glad we cleared that up.
Okay, I hope you find a good one.
All right.
See ya. Like they don't know what a glory hole is, right? We know what you're doing in your spare time.
You're looking for glory holes.
Right. And like I said, they do glory holes in ladies' restrooms. Something to think about. Wonder if anybody ever got a tongue caught in a glory hole, huh? Well, you remember Ellie Brecker brought in that tongue in a package that day. Maybe they're just trying to pass some lunch. Maybe that's what those guys are trying to do too, huh? Oh, God, now he's going to come up with these tube steak jokes. Will you just cut the crap? Stop it. Stop it right now, please. Okay. Here's a mobile in Hialeah. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Neil?
I'm doing great.
Listen, I'm 30 years old, Julio, uncircumcised.
Uncircumcised?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, can I talk about anal sex?
Yes.
Am I see? Okay, I had a girlfriend, Cuban, and she tried once. She loved it. But once she tried, I put her finger up to my, with spurs, that's what you call it, and didn't like it at all. Caribbean women from Dominican Republic, Puerto Ricans, Cuban especially, they're into that. South American, not much. Central American, definitely. It's a taboo. But Cubans, Puerto Rican, Dominicans, they loved it. They had the big butts. It's for something. They use it.
All right.
All right?
Thanks for the good news.
Congratulations on the big numbers.
And thank you so much. And congratulations on your big numbers, too.
Hey, you know it.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Neil.
See ya. Yeah, see, all you people have wondered why Cuban women have those big, fat, round asses. Now you understand. Round and firm and fully packed. Underlined, of course, the fully packed part. I mean, are we going to go back into this again?
Were you fudge packing?
No way. Not this girl. Oh, man. How did we get started on that? That one poor innocent guy. Oh, don't it smell awful dirty down there? Oh, yeah. I don't know. You tell me. All you heterosexual macho guys, you tell me what it smells down by the old
rectum.
Tell me. I don't wait.
Gardenias.
Yeah, I believe you. Lilacs. Oh man, it must be. It's like almost the middle of May. I bet you the lilacs and the tulips are really blooming, like up in Rochester now, at Cobb's Hill and Durant Eastman Park. Oh yeah, just like a beautiful woman's
rectum.
So anyway, this story about Father, we better get into this tomorrow. I have a lot of time on it. Father James Porter. One good thing, thank God about this. He didn't discriminate. He liked little girls and little boys. He liked, you know what I'm saying? He spread it around.
There's no fact in the church.
Thank God for Father Porter. He didn't discriminate. We don't like no priest who discriminate. And it says he had a manic obsession for sex with young children. For the 3 years that he was there, no child was safe. It seemed that he was everywhere. In his office, he forced his fingers between the legs of 8-year-old girls. In the classrooms, he handed out slobbering birthday kisses, pushing his tongue into the mouths of 10-year-old boys as the nun in charge averted her eyes. In other words, looked the other way. While somebody in the background whispered,
There's no fact in the church.
Huh. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm calling because my boyfriend says that you have a tape of OJ explaining about the murders.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you would play that for me.
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
And have a great day. By the way, can I ask you a question while I'm looking for it?
Sure.
Do you, I don't want to get too personal. Do you enjoy anal sex?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, may not play that for you now.
Oh, man, simply let's introduce myself a thing bad because, the sale of a 3x4, they don't know that I get a little food and other man. I tell you, man, I'm a little crazy. I didn't do nothing with a knife with a man. And he said, what they call it, trying to, bubbles and said, man, bubbles and releases. I didn't do nothing with it. So what I'm treating you like that, you know what I'm saying, man? Oh, man, simply do so creative and so what's up at time, man. I didn't do nothing. I was right in the back of the van. I didn't do nothing, man. No white full blanco. So I was going to ask the gun in my head, but I didn't know gun in my head because they know how kind of had the gun in my head. So I was so wrong, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I just know the blood going up the gate over the ball, and I, whatever, the nights and stuff, I was just drops on the floor, I was just staying there, boy, the lights going on, the lights shooting the noise, and I just give me, I don't do this, I just said that, I just know the man, you know, he was so talking about my pleasure.
So what was he really trying to say?
I killed Nicole.
Oh, okay. Kendall, hello.
Hello, hi Neil, how you doing?
Great.
Listen, you're always talking about black people, you're always talking about religion, religions, about women. Hey, why don't you talk something about yourself, you piece of shit?
Okay, I guess we'll be doing that tomorrow.
This is Sports Radio 560 QAM.
If God had a bomb and took a hit, then would he act like Cheech and Chong and get the munchies and make brownies filled with hash? And would he share it with Jesus and the saints, those pious potheads? And yeah, pot is great, and yeah, pot is good, and yeah. What if God smokes cannabis, smoking pot like one of us, getting high on the back of the bus, just in a Moses getting stoned on a Greyhound bus to Rome to get some Vatican homegrown, a couple time back to take home. Smoke a big Bob Marley on his throne. No fun in heaven unless you're stoned.
See, that's another thing. They're always complaining we don't have enough jails, we don't have enough prisons, and the U.S. has a higher percentage of its population in jail or prison than any other so-called civilized country in the world. Well, if they'd let all the people out who are like in there for, having a few joints, all the people who are in prison for victimless crimes, if they put them all out, we'd have plenty of room. We wouldn't have to waste any more money building more prisons. And if they would keep them in there, like that Rimmer scumbag they let out a couple of weeks ago, not the hockey guy, not him, different Rimmer, with 2 M's. The guy that, that went to the electronics store and offed a couple of people, a couple of kids, because his probation officer had too heavy of a workload and she just has a habit of like letting everybody just on the loose. But we don't have any serious commitment toward this. There is no serious commitment. We don't care about this. And as long as they leave us alone, like Howard Beale said, as long as it isn't us, we don't give a flying crap. There's a lady mobile in Weston. Hello.
Hi, good morning, Neil.
Buenos dias.
I got a few things to comment on.
Okay.
Number one, only in America does this shit happen.
Okay, don't say a crap again, please.
Okay. Number two, this kid is old enough to be tried as an adult.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you feel about the death penalty.
I like it.
This is the kicker.
Yeah.
He's old enough to be tried as an adult. He will be. But he's not old enough to go for the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure.
Yeah.
And now the last thing, which will bring a smile to your face and you'll probably crack up. This is medical news that just broke out. For all the women, all the women who are PMSing, this gynecologist came out with something so they won't get cramps. He puts a battery in the box of, they're going to be sold by boxes. It's a vibrating tampon.
Oh, right. I've seen that.
They're waiting for FDA approval.
In fact, Jeff Cohen is going to be first in line to get him, and not for his wife either.
I just fell off the couch when the news reported that. I said, now we're going to have a bunch of women walking around town with a vibrator there.
Well, you think you were falling off the couch now. Just wait till it comes out.
I know. We're going to have a lot of car accidents. They're going to ditch their husbands, and they're going to be ragging for the whole month.
Well, at least to keep them busy in the car anyway. Have a great day, sweetheart.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Can't you just see that? All the crazy things that people do in cars now? How about a pencil-thin anal vibrator with every new car? Sure make Jeff Cohen happy. He's heavy-duty in those pencil-thin rectum vibrators. And he's straight as an arrow. Well, I don't know. We got trailer park. Like I told you the story a couple of days ago about the woman in Walgreens with the 2 little kids running around. I mean, just trashing the place. Just destroying, ripping stuff off registers and just opening up all kinds of crap and throwing it on the floor. Oblivious. So when you turn on shows like Jerry Springer and you think, boy, they're sure going to run out of that trailer park trash pretty soon. Don't worry, there's an endless supply because they're reproducing like rabbits. In the meantime, here in Miami, they're doing acid attacks on abortion clinics. That's what we be doing.
Because we love those fetuses. Well, those people, by the way, are the same ones, the right-wingers who are hysterical about abortions, the same ones who are the gun lovers, and the same ones who don't give a flying crap about the kids that got murdered yesterday or any other kids once they're born. They are fetus huggers. They're hugging their gun with one hand, and they're hugging their fetus with the other. Well, don't shoot it. Here's a lady in Kendall. Hello.
Hey, Uncle Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Finally, honey, after 3 years of trying to get you.
Well, here I am.
I know, baby. And
Haven't had an open line in 3 years.
And in Kendall, too, honey.
Mm.
Yes, and I'm living in the Kendall area, and I'm still trying to figure out where the hell I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah?
We'll send you a road map.
I know, I need one.
And a compass.
I know, my husband's trying to tell me, well, honey, you're on this road.
And a pencil-thin anal vibrator from the pizza lot.
Exactly. Oh, honey, I would love that.
All right.
That's right. And,
Jeff Cohen just gave a thumbs up. He said
right.
It's in the mail, sweetheart.
Ooh, I'll take it. Let's see. A dingo ate my baby. I just felt like I had to say that. I'm just silly as hell, Neil. And let me tell you
Sounds
something.
like it.
Let me tell you something.
Better give
Neil.
George your address. He wants to stop by on the weekend, get some good stuff for the holiday.
Well, come on over, baby.
All right.
Hey, let me tell you something. I would take care of you. I've got an empty
I
room
think this
here.
lady's got the really good. Yeah.
That's right. And oh God, I need that. I haven't in 3 weeks.
Oh, the best call in the history of the human race. Not just of this show, not just talk radio. That was the best phone call. Even Alexander Graham Schwartz would be impressed with that.
Let's go home now. I got a tape.
Oh, God. I needed a good laugh. It pains me. Here's a mobile in Coral Springs. Hello.
Hey, Neil, God, how you
yes,
doing?
Yes, sir. Great.
Jeb Bush is speaking at my son's elementary school today.
Oh, God.
I sent him to class. Exactly. Get those cards ready.
Yeah.
I sent him to class with a question because my son will probably get to ask this question. I said that when you become, or if you become leader, governor of the state of Florida.
And we all leave, yeah.
Are you going to make abortions illegal?
Mm-hmm.
So we had a little conversation about abortions and what it is and this and that. What kind of ruckus do you think is going to cause from this?
Oh, boy.
You wait till you read the papers, because my son will probably ask the question.
Yeah.
And it'll be some kind of file. I'll get a letter home today with him or something.
I think one thing about Jeb Bush, he makes Daddy look like a raving liberal.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he will become the next governor here unless we do something. We have to get up, get active, and say, don't vote for this guy. He's bad news.
Amen.
And as far as the Marlins, I haven't taken my son to a baseball game in 2 years. Have not been to Blockbuster Video in 2 years. And my family knows that Wayne Huizinga is a bad man.
Okay.
And that's it.
Have a great day.
Have a great weekend. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you should teach all your kids that, okay? If you want to teach them good and evil, stuff like that. Forget about God and the devil. If you want to teach them good, show them my picture, even though it's ugly. And if you want to teach them bad, show them Wayne's picture, where I've got at least a better complexion and a little more hair. Mobile in Hialeah. Hello.
Neil, God.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing marginal. It's a marginal Monday, man.
You're always
Sucks.
great.
Love it.
I'm just calling to put in my 2 cents in about the anal thing.
Yeah.
My wife loves it, and I don't consider myself gay just because I like to give it to her.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd let you know.
You don't consider yourself gay?
No.
But the way you say that, like somebody might.
No, because.
Were you fudge packing?
Yeah, I'm not fudge packing. I'm packing her.
Yeah.
But you had a couple guys saying that you're gay if you like to give it to a woman in the rectum.
That's what I heard. Anybody that's into a rectum is a faggot. That's what I heard.
Nah.
That's a fag thing.
No, we like to perform oral on ourselves in the rectum. Hello?
I'm listening.
Oh no, I thought maybe you hung.
No, why would I do that?
No, just because you're just Neil.
Just when we're getting to the meat of the matter now, and you think I'm going to cut you off?
Yeah.
In fact, Dr. Mark was just in here. He said, no. He said, that's the outgoing slot. He said, no more anal sex. He just gave that order for all the people in South Florida. No more, no mas.
Okay.
Maybe one more time. Maybe one more. Just this one last time.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, can you do one more thing for me, Neil?
Sure.
My wife, this is the first time I make her listen to you.
Yeah.
And she's never heard bagpipes.
Okay.
And
how did I know that? So now he's got on the anal sex. Now he's trying to move on to bigger and better things. Okay, pal. Get out of here, you pervert. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about the anal sex issue.
You're concerned about anal
sex,
sex,
let me tell you why. I've been dating this guy for 2 years,
yes.
and he's continually expressed his preference to...
He continues to express his anals? He's doing his anal express?
No.
I thought that was for dogs.
He continues to express his preference for us to do it, and I'm a bit concerned that he might be bisexual because, to to me it's kind of weird.
It's a fag thing, yeah.
I'm realizing now that it's very popular, and I hadn't realized that it was as popular.
Well, in other words, your objection wasn't that you thought it might be painful or uncomfortable?
Well, that as well. I mean, I've never done it before. And
well, don't do it. Don't do it.
No, but it's the issue.
Don't go caving in just because it's the popular thing to do. Well, what a line that is.
No, but I mean, I was just worried. I'm like, well, why would somebody want to do something like that?
I have no idea. Because I guess whatever hole, comes in handy is a hole for them, I guess.
I guess it is. Well,
I mean, I've been hearing for years all these people screaming at me, you fudge packer, and I don't even do that, but I mean, if I did, I'd be the first to tell you. But it's supposed to be us faggots who are the fudge packers, and we're finding out these last 2-3 weeks here, it's all the straight guys that are packing the FLM's candy for holidays.
That's what they call themselves straight. I'm kind of dubious.
Call
about
themselves,
that as well.
you can call yourself anything. I can tell you I'd be black, too. That don't make me too dark. Don't do it, sweetheart.
I ain't going to do it.
Keep the door closed.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Have a big sign there, no rear entry. Okay. What are you laughing about? No, I don't want to be accused of being on the air here promoting anal sex, which I'm not. You think that it was painful when the doctor was in here with that needle, which it wasn't really bad till he, yanked it out. In fact, all you women out there, that's when it's really bad, when they yank it out.
Rectum.
Oh, whew. Not too fast. Just be careful. That's all I'm telling you, okay? That's just the best advice I can possibly give you. Just be a little on the cautious side. And it would seem to me that of all the timing in the world at this time when we've got all these diseases going around, not just AIDS, but we've got every other kind of disease that's ever been invented because God works in mysterious ways and he's pretty pissed off, that all of a sudden people want to encourage anal sex, which it seems to me that even, what would it be number one? Needles, dirty needles, or anal sex?
No question, anal sex.
Well, there you go. For spreading HIV, okay? Number one in the universe.
We're number one, damn it!
Yeah. And all you guys out there, of course, you're not on the receiving end in what we're hearing about. But how about if that girlfriend, if the missus has a surprise waiting for you, huh? That's right. God only knows what's been in that rectum. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, that's me. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Boss, I've been listening to you for a long time. I just wanted to call to tell you I'm getting out of this rat hole.
All right, let's hear it for a guy that at least has got the sensibility and is getting out. Where are you going?
I'm actually, don't laugh, I'm moving to Alaska.
Like I said. Oh, geez.
I like it a lot up there. It's a
Why
good
do you
place.
like it? What do you like about it?
I work up there as a commercial fisherman, and I'm actually, if everything works out right, I'm going to do wildlife enforcement law.
Oh, so you like wildlife, huh?
Well, it's nice, it's clean, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good life.
I like wildlife too. That's why I go to Amsterdam all the time.
I've been listening to this anal sex stuff for the past couple of weeks.
Shocking.
I know. Big deal. I lived in San Francisco for 9 years.
Oh, well, no shock to you.
I haven't heard anyone talk about the wonderful thing that a rim job actually is.
Oh, God. I heard about those rim jobs. Have a good luck, pal.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Have a great life.
Bye-bye.
Okay. That's what I heard about each and every one of those rim jobs.
They stunk.
This is Sports Radio 560 WQAM, The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
I had some real hard ones, but small ones, erections in my life. Whoa, I was hung like a small fruit fly. Viagra, along with injection, gave me an extended live. Oh, now it's long and wide, but now it's way too big. It won't fit in any hands I put on. Whoa, now it's too damn long. Oh, that's what I need. Diving. If we die,
Speaking of erections, by the way, I had a chat with a young priest in Rome who said the Holy Father agrees with your audience, by the way, that anal is definitely the way to go.
Oh!
That's what he said. Pope is big on the rectum. Have you seen it lately? Gigantic, huge one. And I'll tell you what else they're big on over there is Viagra. Oh, my God. That's all they're hocking and chining about over there. And, you know, if those old priests are going to keep up with those young altar boys, going to have to be popping a lot of goddamn pills.
There's no fact in the church.
Which, by the way, I don't want to start on an anti-Catholic or anti-religious note. I got a great book, which this is actually a book you can buy here, I would assume, because usually I get these funky books like that, the Farewell to God, the Templeton book. Well, you have to call Canada, you have to do this. And this book, I'm sure you can actually buy here, Hollywood Censored by Gregory D. Black, Morality Codes, Catholics, and the Movies. Now, I picked this up and I leafed through it and I said, this book is for me, goddammit. This is exactly what I've been talking about. See, what I don't understand is how come when the Pope comes here, isn't the Pope a Catholic?
Uh-huh.
How come when he goes to Cuba or he comes here, how come that's a big story? How come when some Hindu bastard comes here, he gets like 2 seconds on the news? How come when some old Jew comes here, they get like 15 seconds on the news? But everywhere the Pope goes, and I hate to break the news to you, the Catholics are not a majority in the world. I won't say anywhere in the world because unfortunately in Latin America, where they're reproducing like rabbits, yes, they do happen to be a majority. A big majority, and that's the idea. In Italy, they think they're the majority, but still most of the people. And by the way, I found out also from another young Catholic in Italy, guess what? You know, all those people, all those Getchkis at Sunday Mass at the Vatican, 80% of them are Americans. Tourista. Yeah, 95% of them are tourists to begin with, but 80% of them are Americans, dumb Americans who got this religious thing hanging around their head like a goddamn albatross. And the Italians, they're giving them the old Italian salute. They're giving them the Bafangula is what they're giving them, and rightfully so. But, you know, I'm reading this book about the Catholic Church and about the Catholic League of Decency and all this other crap, and I'm thinking to myself as I'm reading it, who the hell are they to dictate what the hell belongs in the movies or on the air or any other goddamn thing for everybody? See, they don't want to just dictate for themselves, for their own lemmings and little sheep that come along. They've been doing that for centuries. With that book list they got, you know, with all the banned books, like Grapes of Wrath, stuff like that. They figured that was Jewish. But they're running around telling everybody in the goddamn world, and they're a minority. Buddhists put them to shame, for Christ's sakes. And thank God while I was gone, we didn't have no religious insanity in the world. Thank God for that, you know, crazy countries like India and Pakistan weren't testing nuclear weapons while I was gone. Thank the Lord for that. We had important crap going on in this station. The Marlins were losing every day.
Uh-huh.
Right. Got all this good stuff in here in this great, great book, which you ought to be going out and getting at Hollywood Censored by Gregory D. Black. And by the way, the thing I was looking for before, it's called the Index Librorum Prohibitorium. How do you like that? Prohibitorum, excuse me. A list of banned publications. This has been going on for centuries. Centuries! In which the Catholic Church has been banning books and giving a list of banned publications to their lemmings, to their sheep, to their followers, to their goose-steppers. Catholics at one time or another have been forbidden to read Dante's The Divine Comedy, Fielding's Tom Jones, Flaubert's Madame Bovary, Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter, Victor Hugo's Les Miserables, and Molière's Don Juan. The list was wide-ranging and brought together under a heading of a mixture of political philosophers, all deemed dangerous to Catholic minds. Confucius, Lenin, Vladimir, not John that is, John Locke, John Stuart Mill, Thomas Paine, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Trotsky, and Voltaire. The list of forbidden volumes represented the world's great seminal ideals in philosophy, economics, and social theory. Contemporary novelists on the list included John Dos Passos, Theodore Dreiser, William Faulkner, Ernest Hemingway, and Sinclair Lewis. All those communista bastards. How do you like that? And you assholes continue going there and lending them your tangible support, and they keep telling you, you want to know why they don't want the members of their flock to read that material? Because then they might be able to use their brain. They don't want them exposed to any other kind of ideas except the crap, except the horse manure that they're brainwashing into their minds. And, of course, we see it again today. Oh, well, it's, we have all these horrible things going on with school kids killing each other, so it must be because the movies, it's the Jews that are making those movies in Hollywood. That's what they were saying back in the 30s in this book, by the way. Virulent anti-Semitism that made Hitler look like a B'nai B'rith member. That's how anti-Semitic the church was then, and guess what? They still are. And they got plenty of company, like Dr. Kennedy up there at Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church with his virulent anti-Semitism, parroting the same stuff that I'm reading in the book that was said back in the 30s about those Jews, those movie makers, those degenerates. And by the way, Dr. Kennedy, one of your musicians in the Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church is a faggot. Oh, no! Yeah, I got it on first-hand information. Here's nobody cares about that crap. Here's a mobile in Okeechobee. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you? Buttloads is what I feel like saying.
Ah.
I'm on Julio, and I heard your tapes last week, and it was all about anal and anal and anal.
Yeah.
Got me all wound up over the weekend.
I'll bet.
And I'm married to a Juliet, and I heard
Yeah.
That too. And I heard over the weekend, over the last week, the tapes, some guys saying that they don't like to do it. It's true, they're not into it heavily, but given the right conditions, yeah, kind of like that. They get into it, and you kind of have to take it. You can't expect it every time. It'll happen.
Well, let's face it. Cuban women, of all the women in the world, what a waste of a big ass that would be. You know what I'm saying? What a tremendous waste of a gigantic round rectum.
Just an amazing, voluptuous, circular pattern with a big brown eye winking at you, and you cannot help but get wanting to go in there.
Really?
It just happens. Well,
you lead the exploration party, pal. We'll follow later, maybe.
You never know. It
with
just
a flashlight.
Happens. And like I said,
anybody in there we know?
Never met anyone I didn't like.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Juliets will give it up once in a while when they feel the, whatever, the barometric pressure is right away.
Well, like I said, the Pope has definitely acknowledged. When I was in Italy, he was making a speech at the Sunday sermon. The people were like just peeing all over themselves because the Pope said Neil is right. Anal is the best.
Oh, he actually acknowledged it?
Yes, he did.
But does he like to give or receive?
Both.
Oh, there you go. I don't like to receive. I've never tried it. I don't think I will. But if your woman, gives it up once in a while, take it for what it's worth.
In fact, that's the first thing that the bishops teach the altar boys, is that giving is the art of giving is what it's all about. But the art of receiving ain't too bad either.
When my wife gives it up, I just say I accept it as a precious gift from heaven.
There you go.
And
God bless you, my child.
Just don't force it, if you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Have a nice decay.
And back to it. Oh, leave it to that little pervert George. I heard spy reports about this, is that he was playing all kinds of tapes all weekend long about rectums. On and on and on.
That was by popular demand.
Yeah, right.
The whole week.
They're demanding it, and from the sound of it, they're getting it and liking it. By the way, very important thing that I almost forgot about. Speaking of Viagra, do not ever pop a Viagra just before you go check out a glory hole, okay? What? Well, that's our poll question of the day. Pole. That's our poll question today. Anybody ever get stuck in a glory hole?
Uh-huh.
Well, now, certainly you've read about couples where the man and the woman have gotten stuck.
No.
Yes.
A man and a woman.
Yes.
Man and a dog.
No, a man and a woman. No. Man and a woman. Yes.
Get stuck?
Stuck.
No.
Yes. See, you're in denial. Are we going to have to go through another week of this again? And they have to call the paramedics because mental, emotional contraction and expansion and whatever. I'm not going to draw you a goddamn diaphragm, but the same thing with this glory hole business. Sometimes there are guys, usually they overestimate their own prowess, but once in a blue moon they underestimate. And they take a look at that little hole that some pervert has drilled in there at Home Depot with a drill that we certainly hope he bought in store. That's the least you can do. At least is patronize the goddamn store if you're going to dick around in their men's room.
Hope you didn't put it back on the shelf.
What about the drill? But at any rate, so, you look at that hole, and in the beginning it looks like it's going to be large enough to mess around with whoever's on the other side. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, as that expansion begins, as that Viagra kicks in, you got a real major problem.
The Hank Goldberg Show. Sports Radio 560. QAM.
Well, when he was alive back in 1489, he was a little guy who stood 4'5", kinda round and pasty with a couple of chins, and he was in charge of the Vatican, Pope John.
Pope John, Pope John,
Pope Pius John. You see, the popes and priests would get married back then and spread the money round to their offspring and kin. So the bankers at the Vatican, they married his sin, and that posed a problem for his husband and him, Pope John. The scandalous secret he didn't confess was that he was a pregnant girl under that dress. Back then they all dressed in drag. That helped keep it hidden, because if anyone found out, he'd lose the gig. Pope John. Pope John. Pope John. Pope Pius John. One windy day, his dress blew up in the dust, and someone yelled, "Hey, that guy has no nuts!" And like Marilyn Monroe, his skirt billowed high, and everyone knew it was the end of the line for Pope John. Embarrassed and worried the bank would go broke, the Vatican chimneys belched out holy smoke. From history, spin doctors had this erased not long after they had discreetly replaced Pope John. Pope John, Pope John, Pope Pius John. They buried him or her out of public view in a tomb held together with scotch tape and glue. These few words are written on his tomb. We pray that everybody will forget about you, Pope John. Pope John. Pope John, Pope Pius John.
In 1992, Roger Mahoney, Roman Catholic Cardinal of Los Angeles, told the Hollywood Anti-Pornography Coalition that the motion picture industry was an assault against the values held by the vast majority of the people in American society. This is a Roman Catholic Cardinal, by the way, of Los Angeles. The movie industry, he maintained, could not continue to hide behind a misplaced cry for freedom of expression. To curb the excessive sex and violence in current films, Mahoney called for the reinstitution of the Hollywood Production Code, which had ruled the American film industry from its adoption in 1930 until it was replaced in 1966 by the current rating system. Industry officials expressed dismay at this plea to censor the movies, not just for Catholics, but for everybody, whether you like it or not. Cardinal Mahoney's call for a modern crusade against the movies was no surprise to Hollywood. In 1930, another Catholic priest, Father Daniel Lord, what a name, huh? That's almost like, oh, God! Father Daniel Lord believed that the movies were corrupting American moral values. To counter the influence of immoral movies, he wrote a movie code that prohibited films from glorifying criminals, gangsters, adulterers, and prostitutes. Lord's Code, which soon became the Bible of film production, banned nudity, excessive violence, white slavery, illegal drugs, misogynation, lustful kissing, suggestive postures, and profanity from the screen. However, it went further than simply banning things from films. His code also held that films should promote the institutions of marriage and home, defend the fairness of government, and present religious institutions with reverence. I guess he didn't see the movie Priest, huh? You think he saw it?
Uh-huh.
A basic premise of the code was that movies did not enjoy the same freedom of expression as the printed word or theatrical performances. The most democratic of art forms had to be regulated, Lord argued, because movies cut across all social, economic, political, and educational boundaries, attracting millions of people to its theaters every week. In order to protect the masses from the evil influence of the movies, they had to be censored.
Boy.
Those evil Jew propagandists who were filling the people's minds with the truth, with crap, with what life was really all about. And let me say it again. Who the hell is the goddamn Catholic Church or these isolated fag priests to be running around dictating morality and what everybody can see and watch and etc.? Are we out of our minds that this has been going on for like hundreds of years?
Uh-huh.
Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Rogers, I guess I'm one of your religious paleontologists checking in with you just to tell you that neither the Protestant nor the Catholic Church teaches what you say about sex in the church.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Wrong.
All I'd like to say.
Sir, let me ask you this. If the Catholic Church doesn't teach what I'm saying, that sex is for procreation purposes only, if the Catholic Church doesn't teach that, then how come the Catholic Church won't marry people who are incapable of having sex, of consummating the marriage? How come they won't marry those people?
Because the Catholic Church recognizes that sex is just one part of the total person, okay?
And
what about if somebody is impotent? What about if somebody is a quadriplegic? Somebody is incapable of consummating his marriage vows and having sex? Does that mean that the church should make those people live in misery?
Well, I know plenty of Protestant churches that
We're not talking about
like
Protestant churches. You're no Protestant. You're a Catholic.
I'm actually Episcopal.
Well, that's even worse.
But I'd like to say to you that I don't think it's accurate that the Catholic Church teaches that sex is only to make children. Okay.
Absolutely wrong, sir. Absolutely.
Check out
I will bring in proof positive tomorrow. I will read you from this book, which is written by a very frum Catholic. I will guarantee you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, those are the teachings of the Catholic Church.
Well.
So George is getting psychotic Hispanics calling off the air who are very upset about the Catholic comments I made today. All religions are bullcrap, but the Catholic Church has got a special place. That's right. There are some religions that are bullcrap, but they're just basically benign. But the Catholic Church is malignant. Malignant. And if you want to be a sheep, if you want to believe this crap, this bullcrap that's being taught to you by a bunch of silly old men in dresses, then be my guest. Or by a bunch of silly old bull dykes who look like penguins on a bad day. Do you have any kind of a mind, any kind of a brain, just a little tiny one?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. But you got to keep reproducing, and don't forget, no sex if you're not going to be making lots of babies, okay? You hear what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Because we don't want to get Il Papa pissed off. Because that's when he starts, making sure that the weed that is going around is really bad, really rotten to the core, like him. You want the good weed, you better just quit making all the hanky-panky. Just go back in your house and make babies, like Martha Jean the Queen said in Detroit in 1967 when they were burning the city down. That's what the Pope keeps telling all these poor schleppers all over the third world. Go make babies. Go make babies. That's right. And then we got all the fetus huggers running around, spreading their thing. They love that fetus. Oh, by the way, my special commendation to, what's the guy's name? That asshole on Channel 4, Dave, the one that's always out there with the tie. Oh, what the hell is his name? You don't know. Yesterday they had that story about the woman that stood in front of the railroad train on the tracks and got killed. You didn't see that story? Didn't make the papers today. I didn't see it. This was on the 6 o'clock news last night. Dave Nelson, is that the guy on Channel 4? Another brilliant question. He's talking to one of the cops who's investigating this thing, and there was also a fetus on the tracks. Okay, so it was like they think that she just stood there and committed suicide, and it's like two people are dead because of the fetus. And Dave Nelson says, any idea on how old the fetus was? Now, I want you to keep in mind, okay, this is a woman and a fetus who have just been run over by a railroad train, big old choo-choo train, okay? Anybody ever ride on a choo-choo train?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Any idea how old it was? That's almost like Larry King asking that poor girl whose boyfriend had just been shot and murdered up there in Oregon, you're going to be at the funeral tomorrow? No, stupid. They're having a sale at Penny's, asshole. I'm going out to buy me a dress. What? Dave Stanley. Thank you, whoever called. Thank you profusely. Here's Boca. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil, first-time caller.
Okay.
How are you?
Great.
I love the show. I'd just like to say, what's up with the people in Orlando today? It's, or actually last weekend, about protesting Disney and Gay Day and Barnes & Noble and all this stuff. What's with religion? I mean, seriously, these people are crazy.
Yeah, that's right. You just said it. We asked you, it's a rhetorical question.
Well, yeah.
They are crazy.
That's true.
Religion is just a justification for hatred. That's all it is. It's a legitimization of hatreds, whatever they might be.
I believe you 100%. And I had this idea. I want to do this so bad next time I go up there and protest. I want to go up
there and protest
a bunch of people
what?
in a clown suit, protest them, and make them feel really stupid, of course. Then they'll pull out the Bible and wave it at me and say, no, you're wrong, and you're going to
First of all, let me ask you, don't they understand, all those religionists, those right-wingers, that they're not welcome at Disney World anyway?
That's a gay club, you moron.
That's right. They're not welcome there.
Apparently not.
Okay, butch up, pal.
Wait, hold on one second.
Closing, yes.
Year 2000, I'm going to get my friend Looks Like Jesus. We're going to start a new cult and, get 10,000 people as membership. That should be extra $100. I should get.
Do it on the internet, man. You'll have. Do it on the internet, man. You'll have $1 million by the end of the week.
You bet.
Okay. Good luck. God bless you. There you go. There's.
Oh God.
Junior. We have an open line in Broward, 567. You had to smoke your pot and suck your whatever the hell it was, whatever that was he was talking. That was good. That was excellent, sir.
F your whores.
Oh, F my whores? I didn't do no whores. Not a one. There were a lot of heterosexual people over there doing whores. Those hookers in the windows in the red light district. Lots and lots. Didn't do no whores, sir. Hate to break the news to you, and if I did, I'd proudly come back and give you like a list. Was he over there doing people? Is that what he was doing?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. Here's a mobile in Kendall. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing? Congratulations.
On what?
On your rates.
On my rates? Yeah, my rates are going up.
Neil, my name is Raul, second-time caller.
Yes, sir.
Nice talking to you again.
Yes.
I'm a Christian. I used to be a Catholic, but I'm a Christian.
What is that? What does that mean? You're a Christian?
I'm Christian. I don't believe in a lot of things that Catholics do.
Like the Virgin Mary?
Etc.
Uh-huh.
And I don't like giving it through the butt. I'm a Cuban. I don't like giving it through the butt, but I sure love eating pussy.
Okay, great. Okay, another cat lover for you. And he's a Christian. Well, that's what it's all about. He's a Christian, baby. And he said he loves pussy, is what he said. Well, you can't say that on the air, can you? I mean, James Bond, pussy galore, you could say that, but you can't say what he said. But he's a good Christian, and he's a Julio. What do you want? He's a maniac. He's got to have it. He's hot-blooded. It's in his blood, baby. Just wait till those blood test results come in, Raul. You're in big trouble.
Ed Kaplan knows the scores. Starting at 10 till the last game ends. Weeknights only on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Suck it in and hold it.
Oh!
Te estuvo muriendo aquí.
Oh!
Shopping the night away.
Long y suspirada.
Shopping the night away.
I use a MasterCard, I use a Visa card. I use Discover card, I use a debit card. I find a sale, then I want to find a bargain. I find a bargain, then I want to buy more.
Boy, shopping boy, shopping boy, shopping boy.
It gets marked down, I buy it up and then I take a little drive downtown, down the sale. I find another store, now I'm shopping like never before. It gets marked down, I buy it up and then I take a little drive downtown, down the sale. I find another store, now I'm shopping like never before.
There's no facts in the church.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
This is a shocking moment for me, I'll tell you. Get out the crying towel.
There's no facts in the church.
This just in. This morning it was announced in Rome that Pope John Paul II has accepted my resignation as Bishop of Palm Beach in accord with Canon 401.2. This news release, this is the Bishop Joseph Keith Simon, second Bishop of Palm Beach's resignation, sent to the Vatican this morning. I am grateful to the Holy Father for his paternal concern for me and for this Church of Palm Beach, which I've been privileged to serve for 8 years, and for having appointed Bishop Robert N. Lynch as Apostolic Administrator of the Diocese. As painful as it is for me and will be for others, I feel it important to make public the reason for my resignation.
There's no facts in the church.
Early in my 40 years of priestly ministry, I was involved in inappropriate sexual behavior with minors.
Oh my God.
Realizing the gravity of my past actions, I have in succeeding years tried to live my promises of celibacy and chastity and have immersed myself in my ministry as priest and as bishop. In other words,
Father O'Toole. God.
I have prayed each day for these persons and their families. It is a memory with which I have lived for far too long.
There's no facts in the church.
I apologize to all whom I have hurt in any way, and if by this action they might seek spiritual, emotional, and psychological comfort and assistance, then this painful moment for the church and for me may prove to be beneficial, but let's not hold our breath. If you can find it in your heart to pray for me, I seek those prayers and I shall be comforted by them. If you can find it in your heart also to forgive my failings of the past, I shall be grateful. At some other time, I hope the people of God and the Church of Palm Beach will be able to appreciate what I have attempted to accomplish while serving as your bishop. As I take leave of you, I express my heartfelt gratitude to the priests, the deacons, the seminarians, the religious and the altar boys, of course, and laity who have collaborated with me in building the local church into a vibrant, caring diocesan family. May God grant us every needed grace at this moment and throughout the months ahead, says Bishop Joseph Keith Simons in his tearful resignation to the Holy Father in Rome this morning. Don't forget.
There's no fact in the church.
All right. So anyway, how do you like that? Another one of those isolated incidents. God, I can't get over that. Another child molesting priest can't be true, can it?
No.
Of course not. More propaganda from those atheist bastards in the media.
Neil Rogers got.
With a little look inside her dress, I asked for her phone number, I asked for her address, but you wanted no piece of my anatomy. She said, I gotta leave ya, I got somewhere else to be. She said, I'm gonna run from you, gonna run like hell from you, 'cause I said, oh, my routine.
All right. You know, it just dawned on me the irony of the fact that this book, Women's Sexuality in the Catholic Church by Jutta Ranke Heinemann, is on Penguin Books. I was just thinking about those nuns in their penguin outfits, and this is on Penguin Books. He works in mysterious ways.
Oh, God!
Told you. It's on Penguin Books. There's a very interesting last paragraph in here, a rather long paragraph, but nevertheless. It says, during the trial of Galileo, Cardinal Bellarmine, who played a decisive part in the trial, wrote on April 12, 1615, to the Carmelite monk Paolo Antonio Foscarini. Oh, he makes great pasta, by the way. He wrote to Paolo, he said, to assert that the earth revolves around the sun is as erroneous as to claim that Jesus was not born of a virgin. This equating by the Church of the idea is first that the earth is the immovable center of the universe, and second that Mary gave birth as a virgin, means that Bellarmine's proposition can also be reversed, so that Mary no more gave birth as a virgin and the sun revolves around the earth. Now that the error about the sun can no longer be maintained and the earth has been given permission to be a planet, the error about the virgin is still to be corrected. For too long, human understanding and Christian faith were violated by the false doctrine that the sun revolves around the earth. To this day, they're being violated by the false doctrine of the virgin birth. How do you like that?
Oh!
God almighty. Just something to think about, because we know it's all filthy and disgusting.
Sister Mary Catherine, Jesus!
Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to follow up on a caller you had yesterday. I was in the car. And
I had a call yesterday?
You had a call.
I don't remember any.
The guy called up and said, what's wrong with people believing in whatever religion they want? It doesn't hurt anybody.
Right.
And I heard that too, and I thought to myself, my God, this guy doesn't have much of a knowledge of history at all. And
yeah.
Don't you think that since people act on their beliefs, if you've got 6 billion people wandering around the planet believing in fantasies, don't you think that causes some damage?
Well, of course, when most of the conflicts in the world, there are two basic things that cause conflict in the world. One is territory, and the other is religious differences. Those are the two basic things that cause all conflict in the world.
And religion institutionalizes hatred amongst groups.
And for example, if you look in the Middle East and you look at that territory, it's not so much a question, like in Jerusalem, it's not a question of whether it belongs to this one or belongs to that one. The question is you've got the Muslims, you've got the Jews, and you've got the Christians, and to them they all think that that's their city because that's all their holy their thing. So it's insanity. More people are killed every year in the name of religion. You've got the people bombing the abortion clinics and the Planned Parenthood clinics. You've got people throwing the chemical crap into the mailboxes. These people are insane. They're out of their minds.
How about people breeding unnecessarily because of religion?
Right, because the Pope is running around and telling them to make more babies, so we have more starvation. Of course, listen, why should we have to waste our time documenting it? It goes without saying. And this guy is so wimpy, huh?
I don't think religion is as benign as that guy did.
It's malignant. And have a great day. My malignant friend. We have an open line in Dade 1 in Broward. That's why I'm talking about it. I mean, if it weren't even worth talking about it, if everybody left each other alone, I don't give a crap what you believe. If you want to believe in little green men on Mars, more power to you. Who gives a crap? But when people use this garbage, well, the Bible says this and about, who the hell wrote that crap? Are you out of your mind? Are you crazy? Are you nuts? The Bible says. Man, oh man, and how many times was it translated and twisted and manipulated? And in addition to which, who the hell wrote it? Like this book I'm talking about today, Women's Sexuality in the Catholic Church. Is it just a coincidence that God created Adam? Is it just a coincidence that men wrote these bubble mices? He didn't bother creating a woman, of course, because a woman is like an underling or a underdog, whatever the hell that word is. So only a bunch of silly old men wrote this self-serving crap. And then finally, in 1920 in this country, like, what is that, only 78 years ago, women finally got the right to vote? And then don't forget about those good old slaves and all the other bull crap. And that people, well, the Bible says, don't you understand? Your parents told you about Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, too. Do you believe in them? Oh, okay. At least you're consistent. Here's Deerfield Beach. Hello.
Well, Neil, the Bible says the wages of sin are death.
Yeah.
And you have a wicked, blasphemous broadcast. And
well, guess what? Let me ask you something. Are you going to die, sir, or are you going to live forever?
I'll live forever.
You'll live
eternal
forever?
life.
Let
You
me
are
ask
going
you,
to die.
where are you going to be after you die? Where are you going to be?
I'm going to heaven.
Where's that?
Well, it's the opposite of where you're going to be.
No, don't tell me where I'm going. I'm not worried. Don't tell me where I'm going to go. Let's hear about what's going on in heaven. Let's hear about what's going on in heaven, sir. What's going to be going on there?
We won't be burning up in the lake of fire.
But what are you? No, don't tell me what you won't be doing in the lake of fire. What are you going to be doing, sir, in heaven? What are you going to be doing up there, sir? What are you going to be doing? And he just keeps repeating, the wages of sin are death. Just over and over. Hail Mary, Holy Mother of God, blessed art thou amongst women, blah, 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 blah. Let's say a bunch of Hail Marys, okay, to save this poor son of a bitch. Oh, he's not a Catholic? Sorry. I take it back. I mean, that was like sent from heaven. Immediately, if not sooner, I get the response I'm looking for from another one of these brainwashed idiots. Like a parrot. Just, you can teach a minor bird or a parrot. Just repeat the same crap over and over again. So that's our poll question today. How many Hail Marys does it take to keep your ass out of hell? That's our question today. How many Hail Marys do you have to say to save your goddamn eternal soul? You're going to be burned in that lake of fire. Yeah, isn't that great loving God again that we're talking about? That great goddamn loving God whose wrath shall wax hot. But God is perfect. He can't have any wrath. Oh, well, those are, you're just shut up. The Lord thy God is a jealous God. Thou shalt have no other God. How can he be jealous if he's perfect? No, stop. He's entitled. He's God. He can do whatever the hell he wants. He's God. Right. Oh, man. I mean, you're talking about people so goddamn dumb that it's pathetic. A fetus has got more intelligence than these people who've had whatever brain power they had at birth sapped from their bodies, just sucked right out of their bodies. Oh, there he goes talking about sucking again. Well, hey, if it works.
I know that the Lord even loves Neil Rogers.
Here's Miami Lakes. Hello.
Neil, how are you doing?
Pretty good, sir.
Okay, I believe in God, not because I'm brainwashed. It's just that there's no explanation to everything that exists out here. So there has to be something out there that has
there has to be something out there.
Yeah, God.
What do you mean out there?
Well, God. I mean, a physical being.
What is God?
A spiritual being that.
Wait a minute. What do you mean spiritual being? Why does God have to be spiritual, sir?
I can't really answer that.
Oh.
But, I mean, there has to be an explanation for all.
So, in other words, God is, and how come God doesn't get rid of the devil?
Because there has to be good and evil.
Why?
To balance everything out.
No, it doesn't balance. In other words, cancer and bubonic plague and all these other diseases balance everything out?
No, it's just...
And murder and mayhem and wars and nuclear weapons balances everything out? Why didn't God create paradise?
Because the world can't be perfect.
Why? If God was perfect and he created it, then it's then what you said is like a contradiction in terms.
Whoever said God was perfect?
Oh, all the believers will tell you God is perfect. He's omniscient. He's omnipotent. He knows everything. He can do everything. That's God. That's the God of the Goyim and the Jews.
But, I mean, it's kind of funny to hear people call up and argue with you about God and the church, but they know you're an atheist, but they still listen to you.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. I mean, if you're gonna be at odds with someone, why are you listening to their program every?
Because there's a part of them that loves it. They love it. There's a part of their mind where they can't let it sink in, but there's also a part of them where they know it's the goddamn truth. Oh, sorry.
Okay, Neil.
Okay. God bless you, my child. Okay. He's out there. He's out there somewhere. Out there. Is it up there? Is it down there? Oh, we know where you're going to be, burning in that lake of hell, because the wrath of God shall wax hot. He is pissed. No, he's not pissed at the devil. He's not pissed about all these diseases. In fact, it's God that's always inflicting all these the famines and the plagues of the locust and the plagues of this and the flood and killed everybody on the face of the earth because he was pissed off. Gods can't get pissed off. Only people. Ever see that bumper sticker? Gods don't get pissed off. Only people get pissed off. As in guns don't. Yeah, you know how it goes. We have an open line in Dade, 5670560, pound 560. I mean, a bunch of silly, old, archaic Getchkis wrote this crap thousands of years ago to try somehow here's a guideline for how we should be a little bit less barbaric. So here's a bunch of parables. Here's a bunch of bubble mices, okay? And now we got thousands of years later, people taking this crap literally and trying to interpret it. Oh, yeah, well, this, it must have been this, and it must have been Noah. Yeah, must have been a mess on that goddamn ark. How the hell could they had a shovel big enough to clean up all of it on that ark, huh? Man, you got gorillas, you got tigers, you got leopards, you got panthers. Maybe even Kirk Muller was on that ark. We can only pray and don't come back. Here's a mobile in Miami Lakes. Hello.
Yes, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever see a picture of Jesus Christ smiling? I mean, if he had the answer, he'd be
Hey,
laughing
listen,
silly.
if you were burning on that cross and had nails in your hands, you wouldn't be smiling
Well,
too much
there's
either.
pictures before the cross. Listen, that isn't why I called.
Well, what do you mean there's pictures?
Well, you see pictures of Jesus Christ before he got on the cross. He's not smiling. I mean, if I had the answer, I'd be laughing myself
Where
silly.
did those pictures come from? When were they drawn?
Drawn by people who believe.
But when?
Whenever. Did they ever draw him smiling? Did they ever draw him happy? Anyway, that's not why I called.
Well, no, wait a minute. That's what this book is all about women's sexuality in the Catholic Church. The book is about the fact that Jesus was joyless. Jesus' hostility to pleasure, and it goes on about the fact that his mother she had to be a virgin or hymen had to be intact because Jesus never experienced any pleasure in his life.
I figure it's because he knew what's in heaven. Anyway, Neil, I have an idea.
Maybe the Spice Girls were in heaven.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Listen, these baseball games have got to hurt your ratings, so I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
You go on with Joe Angel and take calls between batters and during pitching changes.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good idea because there's going to be lots of pitching changes, and I bet there's some good-looking bag boys playing for the Marlins this year. So you get kill two birds with one stone.
Okay, excellent. Let me know what time your pregame's on. We have an open line in Dade, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Here's the upside to the whole Marlins issue.
Yes.
The Cubs finally have a team they know they can beat.
Yeah. How about Arizona?
Well, there's the other upside.
Yeah.
So now you got two upsides.
Arizona's won 6 or 7 games against the Marlins this year. They've only won maybe 15 or 16 all year, and almost half of them against Florida.
And I have one other question.
Yeah.
Jesus didn't have sex when he was married. Is that correct?
When he was married? When was Jesus married?
Well, to Mary.
Jesus was married to his mother? Oh, your mama. Get out of here, you Jew bastard. Can you believe? How do you like that? Jesus was married to his mama. No wonder he wasn't having sex. He was trying to be a good boy.
Maybe he's talking about Mary Magdalene, that hoe he hung
that
out
hooker
for a while, yeah.
Jesus did not experience pleasure. Don't you? I'm going to have to read this whole goddamn book to you, mister? He ate Jewish food. Like I said, he ate a lot of stale matzah is what he ate. That's why it was the Last Supper. He said, "Feh." He spat the goddamn right out. That's right. Jesus was thoroughly lust-free, the joyless Redeemer, free from any kind of sin, free from any kind of sensual pleasure, okay? Although Jesus was called a glutton and a tippler by his enemies. How do you like that? That's from Luke 7:34. And he certainly was not involved in the last and lowest form of human pleasure, sexual pleasure. That's right. This is according to a ruling of the District Court of Hamburg, Germany in 1981, in a case where they convicted an author for insulting religious creeds and affronting church institutions in that great bastion of freedom, Hamburg, Germany. Jesus' hostility to pleasure had implications, first of all, for the married life of his mother. Before his birth, he had laid down conditions for Mary's being allowed to become his mother. According to the teaching of the church, Jesus would have taken no pleasure at all in the whole process of redemption. He would not have become man to begin with, or he would have looked for another mother if Mary had taken pleasure in bearing more children beside himself. This was explained by Pope Siricius in the 4th century, who claimed that in such an event Jesus would not have accepted Mary as his mother. Jesus would not have chosen birth from a virgin had he been forced to look upon her as so unrestrained as to let that womb from which the body of the Lord was fashioned, the hall of the eternal King, be stained by the presence of male seed. There we go with that fine Cuban seed again. How do you like that? And this was not just the personal opinion of an individual pope, as proved by the Catholic dogmatic theologian Michael Schmaus, who says that with his assertion, Siricius was bearing witness to the unanimous teaching of the Catholic Church. No hanky-panky, no stained vagina, no broken Buster Hyman, none of that. Got it? Because sex is evil and it's so dirty, which is why God created it in the first place, because he likes tempting man all the time. And of course, being omniscient, he knows what you're going to do, so he likes watching you screw up, because it's all part of a big, grand plan. Here's a lady mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you?
Great.
Is that guy an idiot or what?
Which one?
Married to Mary?
He was married to Mary. Married to Mama.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I think this is all revolving around money. I grew up in
Only $50.
a Catholic church.
Yeah.
I went to school all my life, a Catholic school. And the minute that you turn away from giving them money,
You're
they
out.
don't preach anything about God or Mary or whatever.
Right.
And it's sick.
So you're out?
I'm out. I've been out.
All right. Congratulations, sweetheart.
All right.
And God bless you.
You too.
Okay.
Bye.
There you go. She's out. She got rid of the bull crap. She said, this is a big scam. It's a big business. By the way, anybody hear about that bishop from Palm Beach resigned because he was molesting little kids?
Out of town, by the way.
What?
Got an update.
He's out of town already?
Yeah. They gave him a head start before they released that.
Oh, they put him in the Head Start program. In other words, so we'll give you a 10-mile head start and then we'll chase your ass down. He's gone. The bishop from Palm Beach, who this morning turned in his tearful resignation to Il Papa in Rome, he be gone. Bishop Joseph Keith Simons, no less. That's right. Today in Rome it was announced that Bishop Joseph Keith Simons, second Bishop of Palm Beach, has resigned, and Bishop Robert N. Lynch has been appointed Apostolic Administrator of the Diocese of Palm Beach, and he released his tearful statement, which I read earlier, of which I'll repeat only one part. He says, I feel it's important to make public the reason for my resignation. Early in my 40 years of priestly ministry, I was involved in inappropriate sexual behavior with minors, not coal miners, but minors, little kids, little boys, little girls. Realizing the gravity of my past actions, I've, in succeeding years, tried to live my promises of celibacy and chastity, and have immersed myself in my ministry as priest and bishop, and adios, farewell, he's gone.
There's no fact in the church.
Oh, that fit in there good, didn't it? That's what the father said. It's not just Neil Rogers on the radio trying to make the Catholic Church look bad. This is a major worldwide epidemic of perverts who are molesting your children, okay? Oh, we don't want to hear about it. Yeah. All you young people out there, stay the hell away from the confessional booth, okay? And when you hear those drilling sounds, I'll tell you right now, that's the time to open up your door on your side and scream out to the Father.
You're looking for glory hole.
And run like a son of a bitch.
Neil, God.
Neil, God.
Where we be going? We're going to Boca. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I've been listening, for the last week or so. I want to weigh in on this anal sex issue.
You want to weigh in on it?
Yeah.
How far in?
All the way.
Way in.
All the way.
Oh, God.
Rectum. My girlfriend absolutely loves it.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you fudge packing?
Yes, I am.
How do you like that?
She, as a matter of fact, probably 80% of the sex we have ends up with the final deposit, if you know what I mean. There.
Squirt. Yeah.
Yeah. She says that she likes to carry it around with her, and actually,
yeah. like a souvenir.
Exactly, and she says
it's a lot cheaper than a locket, or I'll tell you that.
And there's a lot less leakage that way,
right?
If you know what I mean.
Excellent.
And also, I wanted to talk about today's subject, the religion thing.
Yeah.
I definitely believe in God. I'm like that guy that called a couple callers ago. I mean, what's the sense in alienating yourself if he does exist? And
that's called hedging your bets. That's
exactly.
That's not real belief. It's saying, well, just in case, maybe, okay, I'll say that I believe this crap.
What if you pick the wrong one?
Yeah, right.
Well, there are some things that have happened over the years. Not that I'm an expert on it, but I have heard of some things that sort of imply that there is a higher being out there.
Yeah, like those kids that just got shot in Oregon, and those tornadoes that just eliminated that whole town in South Dakota. things like that.
Hey, I'm with you in terms of religion.
Cancer, AIDS, tuberculosis, right?
Yeah. I mean, organized religion to me is nothing
Syphilis.
but a for-profit scam.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And the Catholic...
Let me say it again. If there is a God, why doesn't he eliminate it? Because by anybody's definition, any religion's God is omnipotent. In other words, he's all-powerful. He can control everything, okay? He can do whatever he wants. Why doesn't he eliminate the devil?
Hey, those are great.
And why was God so disappointed, since he's omniscient and knows everything ahead of time and knows how it's going to turn out? Why in the Bible was he so disappointed with the way that man was behaving that he had to drown everybody and put Noah and these old schleppers on this ark and kill everybody else? He knew ahead of time how it was going to turn out. Why would you tempt somebody if you know ahead of time what their choice is going to be?
I agree with you totally. I mean, that's the million-dollar question.
And this crap about, well, he gave man free will. There's no such thing as free will. If you're omniscient, you know ahead of time what choice man is going to make. So he created all these pitfalls. He created the devil, and then he just sits back and lets it all go on while he's wrathing hot with his wax.
Doesn't quite seem like the way they represent.
He's waxing it.
If you look at the Catholic Church, though,
Please.
In particular, you can go to any city, anywhere in the world, and the most expensive or some of the most expensive real estate in that town or that city will be owned by the Catholic Church.
Of course.
Guaranteed.
Right.
I mean that religion has so many holes in it that it's ridiculous that
even the Shroud of Turin don't have as many holes in it.
Well, speaking of holes, I just wanted to let you know that the heterosexual community
rectum
is alive and well, and we are loving it.
All right.
Thanks.
Keep it up, pal, so to speak. Okay, they're doing it, man. That anal, maybe that was a good idea. Now watch out for that anal leakage, though. Oh, God. In fact, that's what they told me when I was over in Rome. Those couple of days we were in Rome, and I said, well, is the Pope too busy for a personal visit today, for a personal audience? And they said, oh, no, he's visiting the Perugina factory. And I said, what's he doing up there? And they said, packing fudge. What? Perugina is a very outstanding. The Italians are famous for their candy. They love their fudge.
This is Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Thank you for calling the football hotline.
Oh, baby, hold me. Oh, yes, that's it. I love your illegal use of hands. Oh, complete a pass to my wide receiver. Oh, yes, fondle my end zone. Spread my goalpost. Oh, that's an illegal procedure. Oh, yeah, touchdown in my tight end. Oh, yes. Oh.
Can I take a couple of calls before we do this? Because this pros and cons book, this is dynamite. And I understand, I do realize right up front that most of the people don't care. In other words, most fans, all they care about is, I want my team to win, and I don't care if they're all a bunch of gangsters. I don't care if they sign OJ up. If he can still run, sign his ass up and put him out there, because as long as my team can win, then I feel much better about myself. It somehow makes me feel more significant as a human being. Us, we're the best, we. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Now that you were talking about Bill Drake, I hope he sells a lot of those books, because it doesn't seem like the guy's making much money. I was at the Grove last week, and I was staying at the Mayfair Hotel, and he's trying to put...
Talk to you, dime to see it. Have a good time, pal.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.
Pros and Cons, The Criminals Who Play in the National Football League by Jeff Benedict and Don Yeager. And, of course, all of our astute sports jockstrap wearers on this radio station, they should be having these guys on there. They should be talking about this. I mean, do we have to bury this in the closet? Is that what it is? Let me start. Let me begin, okay? Chapter 8. This will take a few minutes. It's not that long. But, boy, this is beautiful and close to home. I selected a chapter that I figured maybe you can relate to. The chapter is called What to Expect When You're Expecting. Miami Dolphins team headquarters, Davie, Florida. It's a matter of any time that there's talent available, you continually try to upgrade the bottom 4 or 5 spots on your roster. Miami Dolphins head coach Jimmy Johnson told a group of reporters gathered at the team's headquarters December 2nd, 1997. He was explaining his decision to offer a contract to troubled running back Lawrence Phillips. There's a large upside, Johnson insisted. If Lawrence does all the things we ask in a highly disciplined program, then he can realize what his talents might be and realize the success you probably thought he was going to have in the first place. Less than 2 weeks earlier, the St. Louis Rams suddenly cut Phillips after he was reportedly fined 56 times for violating team rules. In his 19-month tenure with the Rams, Phillips was arrested 3 times, served a jail sentence for domestic violence, and was twice sued by women, once for domestic violence and once for sexual assault. Having received a second chance at the University of Nebraska following a brief suspension for brutally assaulting ex-girlfriend Kate McEwen, the Rams also gave Phillips multiple second chances before finally releasing him. Johnson assured the media that he and the Dolphins had thoroughly investigated Phillips and that he was not the menace often portrayed in the popular press, all words that had been used by the Rams 2 words earlier. Actually, I expected all the worst with all the rumors that you hear, Johnson said, and I can say this for a fact, all of the rumors that you hear are not true. We've checked out factual information, and the things you hear are highly, highly exaggerated. Exaggerated? Although the attack on McEwen, which landed Phillips in jail and had received excessive media play, the scope of Phillips' abusive behavior was kept hidden from the public. McEwen, despite requests from countless national publications and TV networks, never spoke publicly about her violent relationship with Phillips. But on August 16, 1996, she did file a civil complaint at the Jackson County Federal Court in Kansas. In it, she revealed a brutal litany of assaults suffered at the hands of Phillips while the two attended the University of Nebraska. Although civil lawsuits are typically a matter of public record and available to the press, McEwen's complaint was filed under seal. To the liking of Phillips and his lawyers, reporters were unable to view its content. However, on September 3, 1996, federal judge William F. Maurer surprisingly lifted the seal. In effect, Judge Maurer's decision left the painful details of McEwen's civil complaint available to any reporter who showed up at the courthouse and requested to see the file. Wanting desperately to conceal the details, Phillips' lawyers acted promptly and were able to secure a court order, placing the document back under seal within 24 hours. But during the brief window when the case file was open, Kansas City Star court reporter Joe Lambie was at the federal courthouse, and he made a copy of the complaint. He's the only reporter in the country to have seen the case file. Lambie reported these details from McEwen's complaint. October 1994. Phillips shoved her head into a wall so hard it broke through the wall, then choked her and would not allow her to leave his apartment. April 1995. Phillips asked her whether she was dating anyone else and threatened her, saying, "I'm going to shoot you in the kneecaps and then shoot you in the elbows. This is Los Angeles gang style of dealing with people." May 10, 1995. Phillips slashed her car tires and threatened to kill her, then came after her demanding a glass of water, and McEwen told him to get him, after demanding a glass of water, and she told him to get it himself. August 24, 1995, McEwen agreed to drive Phillips, who was drunk, home to his apartment. He forced her to stay there and sexually assaulted her. September 10, 1995. Phillips beat her and kicked her while she was at a friend's house. She contends that he grabbed her hair, caveman style, pulled her down 3 flights of steps, and slammed her head into a wall.
All right.
Phillips reached an out-of-court financial settlement with McEwen, which required that she neither discuss the nature of her complaint nor the details of the payoff. Maybe the reason Johnson could so comfortably claim Phillips' record was exaggerated stemmed from the comparison of Phillips' record with some of his other players who had either served time in jail or been convicted of a violent felony. Yet these players were never scrutinized by the press like Phillips. For example, Johnson signed a little-known free agent wide receiver, Charles Jordan, in 1996, who developed into one of Dan Marino's most reliable receivers in 97. As a teen growing up in Los Angeles, Jordan was an active member of the Bloods. The authorities discovered that his criminal record made Phillips look like a choir boy. Like I said, it's only a few pages. It's close to home. And if you're supposed to look the other way, you better tell me about that. I don't think so. I have a hard time admiring a bunch of goons. That's with a G. Whether they're black, white, yellow, whatever the hell they are. I'm sorry. I just don't understand. And you wonder why America's attitudes and values are all upside down? And you're talking about the presidents getting blowjobs out there in Washington like any red-blooded guy and all the presidents who preceded him, and we're supposed to be upset about that and rightfully indignant. But here we're worshiping all your kids out there. These are their role models. Not all of them, just too many. Way too many. Some of the worst scumbags walking around loose on the face of the earth. And, oh, geez, they're wonderful people. They're great. These are our heroes. And by the way, how much more money can we dig up? How many more loans do we have to take out so we can go buy season tickets and watch these goons play? And put on a very mediocre performance, by the way. Oh, yeah, I heard somebody call Kimball last night, bragging about the fact that Doc Ellis pitched the no-hitter for the Pirates years ago while on an acid trip. Well, that's great. Let's hear it. Oh! Pros and cons. It's in your bookstore right now. It's hot as a pistol, baby, by Jeff Benedict and Don Yeager on Warner Books. Hardcover. How much is it? Too much for most of you. It's, I don't know what the price. Don't tell them the price. It'll scare them away. Okay. On June 27th, 1990, Kenny Jones was gunned down in a hail of bullets while walking down a sidewalk near the intersection of 79th Street and Avalon Boulevard in Los Angeles. A 5-block area between 76th and 80th Streets around Avalon Boulevard is home turf to a local gang calling themselves the Swans, a subset of the Bloods Street gang. Jones, at the time he was shot, was wearing blue, the colors of a rival gang. Neighbors were initially I'm wearing blue. Neighbors were initially reluctant to cooperate with investigators' search for the killers, but a week after the shooting, Officer Jerry Piero received information linking Swan gang members Charles Jordan, a.k.a. Chucky Tyrone Jordan, a.k.a. Whitey, and Glenn Jones, a.k.a. Glayball, to the murder. According to a witness, the three were seen speeding away from the scene in a white Oldsmobile. Then on July 3rd, a man who lived at the corner of 79th Street in Avalon went to police and revealed that his 12-year-old son had been outside at the time of the murder. According to court documents, the boy also saw a white Oldsmobile speeding away from the scene. When police finally questioned Charles Jordan about his whereabouts on the night of the killing, he claimed, according to court documents, that he was at home 1 block away on 78th, along with Glenn Jones, and he knew nothing about the murder. Police then separately questioned Tyrone Jordan, who pinned the murder on fellow gang members John Davis and Maurice Stevens. However, Tyrone admitted that Charles and Glenn Jones were at the murder scene and that Charles made comments about the victim wearing the wrong colors just before the victim was shot. When police tracked down Maurice Stevens, he admitted that he and Davis were at the scene as well, but insisted that Chucky and Tyrone did the shooting. In follow-up questioning by police, Jones admitted that he and Charles had concocted a story about their whereabouts the first time they were questioned. In a September 13th interview with police, Charles Jordan said that he lied about his whereabouts because he knew that the word out on the street was that he committed the murder, according to court documents. The officers then asked Jordan if he would submit to a lie detector test. After failing it, Jones refused to cooperate further with police in their investigation. In addition to being the prime suspect in the murder of Kenny Jones, Jordan had to appear in court September 27, 1990, for a pretrial hearing on an unrelated matter. He had been charged with threatening to kill Warina Wilson and Wilbur Holloway when they showed up to testify at the pretrial hearing of Swan gang member Craig Williams, who was himself facing 2 counts of attempted murder. According to court documents, on August 13, 1990, Jordan confronted the 2 witnesses in the hallway outside the courtroom in an attempt to scare them from going inside. Jordan's brash intimidation tactics were witnessed by L.A. Deputy Sheriff Sean McCarthy, who was in charge of the Williams investigation. When I walked into the hallway after I got off the elevator, I saw 2 males, Jordan and Williams, standing having a verbal conversation with both Ms. Wilson and Mr. Holloway. McCarthy testified at Jordan's preliminary hearing on September 27th. They were approached by those 2 males, and they were encouraged just to leave court and drop the whole incident. The defendant in the attempted murder case, Williams, offered $500 to the victims if they would leave court. McCarthy testified that when the witnesses rejected the hush money, Jordan issued threats. At that point, said McCarthy, Charles Jordan made the statement, "That is your life that you're messing with." At that point, the victim, Holloway, said, "Mr. Jordan, is that some kind of threat?" Mr. Jordan responded by saying, "No, that's a promise." The threat worked. Williams and Holloway ultimately left the courthouse without testifying that day. The sheriff's attempts to bring them back at a later date were unsuccessful. I've been told by Mr. Holloway's family that he's moved out and that he's afraid to testify and they don't know where he's moved, McCarthy testified at a subsequent hearing. I've contacted Warina Wilson's family and was told that she's moved to San Bernardino and they don't know where they are. On October 11th, Jordan was indicted on 2 felony counts of dissuading a witness by force or threat. He later pleaded guilty on March 8, 1991 and received probation. Then October 31st, Jordan was finally arrested and charged with the murder of Kenny Jones, who was jailed and denied bail. 2 other Swan Blood gang members, Maurice Stevens and John Davis, were also jailed and charged in the murder. Jordan's stay in the Los Angeles County Jail, however, was far shorter than that of Stevens and Davis. On January 25, 1991, Jordan was released and the murder charges against him were dropped. Just days before Jordan's release, Tyrone Jordan and Glenn Jones, who originally spotted driving away from the murder scene with Jordan, testified at Jordan's pretrial hearing. In their testimony, they exonerated Jordan and implicated another man, John Davis. These witnesses kind of changed the way they thought about things to where Charles Jordan was no longer involved, said Davis's court-appointed attorney, Matthew Kastner, in court documents. Kastner suggested in court that Jordan may have placed collect calls from the county jail and told Tyrone and Glenn Jones what to say in his pretrial hearing. They're involved in a conspiracy, number 1, to put these 2 men, Stevens and Davis, away, Kastner suggested to Judge Clarence Stromwell. The second conspiracy was to get Charles Jordan out of jail. This is a 3-defendant case. The man who failed the polygraph is the shooter. He gets dismissed out at a preliminary hearing. That's Charles Jordan. He's the leader of the gang. He puts out orders on these 2 witnesses. This is what you're supposed to say at the preliminary hearing. Kastner's theory was that his client, Davis, and Stevens were taking the fall for Jordan. I want to know, is there anything in the group dynamic of this gang that when somebody has to go down on a shooting, a couple of people get pointed out and they do time and go right away because they were lower in the pecking order, Kastner said to Judge Stromwell in his attempt to get a court order giving him access to the jail's payphone records? The judge did not appear to be buying Kastner's argument. On January 9, 1992, the murder charges against Maurice Stevens were also dropped, leaving only Davis in jail. Witnesses had told police that he was seen with a handgun at the scene. On January 17th, Davis pleaded no contest to reduced charges of voluntary manslaughter in the death of Kenny Jones and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. It was Jordan, however, who insisted during a December 1997 interview with ESPN that he was the one who had willfully taken the rap for another gang member by sitting in jail for nearly 4 months. He added that he would do the same again for a fellow gangster if the opportunity arose. Jordan declined to be interviewed for this book. According to the author's research, Jordan's life as a gang member before entering the NFL involved a wide range of other run-ins with the law. The following list was compiled from the criminal court docket at Los Angeles Superior Court. August 3, 1988, charged with taking a vehicle without owner's consent, pleaded no contest to theft of property and sentenced to 30 days in jail. August 21, 1988, charged with felony robbery in jail. Bail was set at $16,000, case later dismissed. January 1, 1989, charged with illegal gambling. No disposition records were available. February 20th, 1992, charged with reckless driving and driving with a suspended license. Pleaded no contest, was placed on probation and sentenced to either pay a fine or serve 10 days in jail. He also was ordered to attend alcohol education classes. On January 1st, 1993, was found in violation of his probation and sentenced to serve 5 days in jail. Jordan was also charged on 3 separate occasions with possession of a controlled substance, and in 1990 he was indicted for kidnapping. Oh! Although he said he's no longer actively involved with the Bloods, Jordan nonetheless still considers himself part of his gang family. I may not be active, but I still consider myself as one, he told ESPN. Further, Jordan continues to give proceeds from his Dolphins paycheck to the Swan Bloods in Los Angeles. Once I give it to them, it's theirs. I don't ask what it's about. I just hand it to them, to be continued in a second. He'd just be giving him the money, baby.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560. QAM.
Can't beat that gator meat.
When it comes to internet access, you want the best. No busy signals, a direct and local connection, unrestricted access, and most importantly, quick downloading. After all, who wants to wait to see this week's latest edition of porno to the web? Oh, don't act like it's not you. Studies show that over 85% of users on the web are there simply for porno, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. That's why we've invented America Porn Line, the fastest internet connection for X and XXX rated viewing there is.
How annoying was it when I was checking out the latest Hooter site and I had to spend a good half a minute staring at this chick's damn face because it was taking so long to download the important parts. Thanks to America Porn Line's fast connections, I'm in Hooter heaven.
America Porn Line, for when your stop on the information superhighway leads right to the red light district.
560 WQAM. The Dolphins' willingness to employ a gang affiliate is not extraordinary. In a groundbreaking 1997 report, ESPN's Outside the Lines chronicled the climb of numerous NFL stars who made the transition from the Bloods and Crips to the gridiron. Redskins defensive end Chris Mims, Bengals running back Eric Bieniemy, Jaguars defensive back Deion Figures, and Bills running back Derek Holmes discussed their early exposure as teens to street gangs. Holmes, whose brother is on death row for 3 gang-related homicides, said he owned his first gun at age 13. How many former gangbangers play in the NFL? Chris Mims estimated dozens. The basic conclusion was that professional athletes are increasingly coming from the inner city, and the inner city is where gangs predominate, explained Matt Morantz, who produced the ESPN report on gangs. Morant spent 4 months researching the connection between professional sports and gangs. In the process, he interviewed approximately 300 people, among them gang experts, law enforcement officials, and NFL players. The consensus of the players was that you can't grow up in an environment without having your life touched in some way by gangs, he explained in an interview for this book. Given Jordan's track record, it is little wonder that Jimmy Johnson would embrace Lawrence Phillips when no other NFL team was as eager to do the same. Phillips had not been implicated in murder cases, nor had he confessed on national television to supplying financial support to a violent street gang. Domestic violence was the biggest mark against Phillips, which hardly distinguished him from his new mates. Miami's other running back, Irving Spikes, pleaded no contest to battery for beating his wife in 1996, and wide receiver Lamar Thomas had been arrested multiple times for domestic violence during 1996 and 97. A closer examination of the Thomas case reveals why it is no surprise that Jimmy Johnson would give Phillips another chance. On October 13, 1997, one day after the Dolphins defeated the Jets at Giants Stadium, Jimmy Johnson cut veteran wide receiver Fred Barnett. Lamar Thomas, who caught 5 passes against the Jets for 75 yards, including a crucial reception on the team's game-clinching drive, took Barnett's position in the lineup. Fred does everything you ask, Johnson told reporters, but had I not made the release, I wouldn't have been fair to our team as a whole. A consummate veteran with a favorable off-the-field reputation, Barnett was replaced by the younger, faster, and criminal Thomas, whose domestic violence record was more prolific than his pass-catching statistics. The bottom line is production, Johnson said candidly, days before making the formal announcement. Indeed, production was the priority when Miami signed Thomas the year before the heels of a vicious series of domestic violence attacks. Much of the following account is based on court records and police reports obtained by the authors from the office of the state attorney in Fort Lauderdale. On July 4, 1996, Lamar Thomas, then a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and his pregnant fiancée, Ebony Cooksey, attended a private pool party and barbecue at the home of Dr. and Mrs. Edmund DeRue in Plantation. At the time, Thomas was living in Tampa, and Cooksey was still in Miami. She was completing her last year of college at the University of Miami, where the two met while both were on athletic scholarships. The two were spending the week together in the Miami area before Thomas had to go north for training camp. The Darrow's son, Richard, a friend of Lamar and Ebony's, invited the couple to his family's 4th of July celebration. Shortly after arriving, however, Thomas left the party briefly to visit his uncle in nearby Fort Lauderdale. When he returned, Thomas brought a cousin with him and immediately insisted that Cooksey, who was relaxing in the pool, get out so he could introduce them. Lamar is very impatient, Cooksey would later say to a police officer in her attempt to reconstruct the sequence of events leading up to her assault at the hands of Thomas later that day. I was trying to dry off and he kept saying, come over here, come over here. It went from asking me to demanding me to come over. Tired as a result of her pregnancy, Cooksey left the pool area altogether shortly after meeting Thomas's cousin. Inside the Darrow's house, preparing to take a shower, Cooksey was fully undressed when Thomas barged into the bathroom unannounced to urinate. Despite the availability of other bathrooms in the house, Thomas insisted on using the one occupied by Cooksey. Wrapped only in a towel, she waited in the hallway for Thomas to finish before re-entering the bathroom, locking the door behind her this time. Minutes after Cooksey began showering, Thomas realized that she locked the door and began knocking, demanding that she let him in. Look, I'll be out, Cooksey responded from the shower. Dissatisfied with the response, Thomas located a clothes hanger and picked the lock. Cooksey was unaware that Thomas had entered the bathroom until he jumped into the shower fully clothed and attacked her. He was enraged and demanded to know why I wouldn't let him in, Cooksey said in her police statement. He opened the shower door and began strangling me, and I guess for about 5 seconds I couldn't breathe. Dripping wet, Thomas stepped back out of the shower, leaving his pregnant fiancée cowering and crying. However, he wasn't finished. Next time I knock, you better effing answer it, you know, he shouted as he sprang back into the shower. It doesn't make sense for you not to answer. He then grabbed Cooksey's head and began slamming it into the shower wall. The glimpse that I did catch in his eye, Cooksey later recalled to police, it was like nobody was there. The violent assault was finally interrupted when a female guest at the barbecue entered the bathroom after hearing the commotion. Thomas again climbed out of the tub, his clothes now drenched. He ran out of the house still wet, jumped in his truck, and drove off. Oh! Naked, wet, bleeding, and battered, Cooksey was aided by the female who interrupted the assault. When barbecue host Mrs. Darrow learned what took place, she brought Cooksey upstairs to her bedroom so she could rest. A cup of coffee was brought up along with Cooksey's clothing. Some domestic batterers don't have the social and psychological makeup to create other vents for their emotions, explained former Dolphins offensive lineman Ed Newman, who is now a domestic violence judge in Dade County, in an interview for this book. They don't know how to take the time out or channel emotions elsewhere, how to obtain solutions. They act without thinking. This is a dysfunction. These batterers are a wellspring of emotions. This leads to impulsive actions, and the actions are totally inappropriate. Approximately 30 minutes after being attacked in the shower, Cooksey looked out Mrs. Darrow's second-story window, only to see that Thomas had returned. His truck parked in front of the house. Thomas was standing outside talking to Richard Darrow. Scared, Cooksey decided to place a call to her father and asked Mrs. Darrow to escort her downstairs to the library where there was a phone. While Cooksey talked by telephone to her father, Thomas entered the library with both Mrs. Darrow and Richard in the room. Cooksey was confident that Thomas would not harm her. Suddenly, while Cooksey was in mid-sentence with her father, Thomas snatched the receiver from her hands and hung up the phone. I'm talking to my father, she pleaded. Shut up, Thomas demanded. Why are you acting like this, Mrs. Darrow interjected. Come on, Lamar, sit down. With all eyes on him, Thomas paused, sat down, and insisted to those in the room that Cooksey's fear of him was not sincere, but rather an act. Then, as Cooksey attempted to exit the room, Thomas leaped lightning quick to his feet. Well, he'd be quick. At that point, I knew I wasn't going to get out of that room because he's Lamar and she's Mrs. Darrow is who she is, said Cooksey, who quickly retreated behind a large desk for protection. Meanwhile, Richard and his father had just entered the room, gingerly approached Thomas, while Mrs. Darrow positioned herself between Thomas and the desk. None of this, however, deterred Thomas. He came toward me as if I was an offensive lineman and pushed me toward the window, Cooksey said, and the window shattered on the lower right side. I feared for my life because I was imagining my head or something going through the window, and it was a thick window. Mrs. Darrow later corroborated Cooksey's account to a criminal investigator. The moment she picked up the phone, he sprang out of the chair, jumped across me, said Mrs. Darrow in her police statement. It was like a football tackle. Straight across me, straight into her, and pushed her into the window. Both Richard and his father went to Cooksey's rescue, pulling Thomas off her. In the struggle, the library was trashed. Cooksey climbed back under the desk, hiding in fear as the men tried to restrain Thomas. A 911 call was placed for police assistance. Before the dust settled, Thomas's rage left red marks on Cooksey's throat, scratches on her left biceps, a large bump and bruise on her right triceps, and a red bruise on her right arm. He also caused over $700 in property damage, putting a hole through the wall, shattering a window, breaking a lamp, and destroying various objects around the desk. Realizing that police had been called, Thomas tried to reassure everyone there was no longer any threat of danger to Cooksey. I'm calm, Thomas said unconvincingly. I have it under control. He then exited the house and hurried toward his truck. Mrs. Darrow followed him outside while one of her children placed a second 911 call, trying frantically to get police to come quicker. Where is he at now, 911 operator asked. Sir, I hope he's outside of the house, Mrs. Darrow's son said. What does he look like? Oh, no, he's with my mother, and I don't want to leave him alone with my mother, so you could just please get somebody here. Someone's on the way out there, but what does he look like? Well, he's 6'4", his name is Lamar Thomas. He plays football for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's 75 pounds. What is it? He's 170 or 175 pounds, a goatee. He's medium to dark skin. He's wearing a pair of blue jeans. 5 days after the attacks, Cooksey gave her formal statement over the telephone to Detective Cindy Costanza of the City of Plantation Police Department. By then, Cooksey's bruises had darkened, looking much worse than needed when the police photographed them on the day of the incident. However, Cooksey's primary concern was the fetus she was carrying. I spoke with my doctor on Saturday regarding my pregnancy and whether or not it should be terminated or whether it still lived, Cooksey told Officer Costanza. You did, she asked? It's just that it's a big decision I'm going to have to make in terms of whether I want him to father this child, said Cooksey. Costanza's chief concern related to the fetus as well, but for reasons different than Cooksey's. While domestic violence is treated as a misdemeanor in Florida, assaulting a pregnant woman is classified as a felony. Can you tell me about the pregnancy? Asked Costanza. Did Lamar know that you were pregnant? Oh, yeah, said Cooksey. He even brought me the book called What to Expect When You're Expecting. Lamar had wanted a baby for quite some time, and that was sort of a problem we were having in our relationship. I have a year of school to go. We're not married yet. On July 10th, a warrant was issued for Thomas's arrest on 2 felony counts of aggravated battery against a pregnant female. 1 week later, the Buccaneers released Thomas. A player who wished to remain unnamed told the authors that the Buccaneers dropped Thomas as the result of his arrest. Buccaneers officials, when contacted by authors, refused to confirm that there was a relationship between the case and his release. We're not going to talk about that, said Communications Director Reggie Roberts. We have no comment. Now, 10 days passed before Dolphins' newly hired head coach, Jimmy Johnson, signed Thomas to a contract. Johnson had coached Thomas in college at the University of Miami, insisted that he deserved a second chance. Jimmy Johnson recruited Lamar to the University of Miami, explained Thomas defense attorney agent Howard Weinberg. Jimmy Johnson left when Lamar got there, but Jimmy was aware of the type of person Lamar was. Jimmy realized Lamar was the type of guy who was worth saving. Lamar was lucky because there wasn't just Jimmy there. Gary Stevens was there too, and they're both well aware that all the receivers who played at the University of Miami, it's quite a distinguished list. Lamar is the all-time leading receiver in the history of the University of Miami Hurricanes. To be continued in a moment. I mean, what the hell's wrong? If you be the leading receiver in the history of the University of Miami Hurricanes, what's not to like, okay? No matter how much of a scumbag you may be.
Wake up with the first team. Joe Rose, Jeff DeForest, and Steve Goldstein. Weekday mornings at 6. Only on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Celebration, and they're all out on the street. See them on the sidewalk, or we hear them shuffling feet. That's 20,000 assholes doing asshole promenade. Step aside, good people, there's the assholes on parade. We got the asshole for freedom, the assholes for fun, the assholes for Jesus, the assholes for guns, assholes for justice, assholes for crime, assholes for assholes, assholes for all time. We got assholes making money, they're making all the rules, they're taking all our jobs, and they're filling up our schools. Assholes on the water, assholes in the sky, trying to set help wanted, the assholes need to fly. Oh, teacher, won't you tell me, have I really made the grade? Am I head of my class, or am I just another asshole on parade? assholes get the orders, and assholes row the boat. Assholes get elected, cause assholes get the vote. I once heard it said that old assholes never die. They just lay in bed and multiply. Assholes in the morning, assholes every night. Assholes to the left and assholes to the right. That's 20,000 assholes behind asshole combination. Step aside, good people, and assholes on parade.
Hey, Brian, are you happy? I hate WLD again. Suck my dick, but I'm happy.
Rocks for every time.
All right.
I'll be rolling with a trunk load in my 81 Buick. Crack City, here I be come. And if I have to bust a cap, I just say I didn't do it. Crack City, here I be come. And when I get to Crack City, I go to the third world and act around the club on who be buying my girl. Yeah, I be going to Crack City, to the floating nightclubs. Yeah, I be going to Crack City and be stabbing my blood. When I be going to Crack City and unload my junk, I never go to Crack City without packing my gun. Yeah, 2 rocks for every time. Know that every now and then I sell some crack to a white dude. Crack City, here I become. Some was buck on the intersection working for free food. Crack City, here I become. Well, I be cruising by the Verbal House with no windows, and be macking on Moesha, she my favorite hoe. Yeah, please go to Crack City, and I'm gonna sell my crack. I'll be going to Crack City. You can count on that. I'll be going to Crack City and blast my rap. I'll be going to Crack City, 'cause I be bad, yeah. 2 rocks for every time. That's right. It's supposed to be a guitar here.
What are you talking about?
You mean you can't play no guitar?
I don't play no guitar.
Motherfucker.
1103 at 560 QM. Name of the book is Pros and Cons, The Criminals Who Play in the NFL by Jeff Benedict and Don Yeager. After her physician determined that the fetus had not suffered any fatal injuries, Cooksey opted to go through with the pregnancy. The Darrows, meanwhile, received a call from Thomas attorney Howard Weinberg. Weinberg, apologized, Darrow told the police, and said that he was going to make sure the bills get paid. He's going to take care of it, see that Lamar gets counseling, and make sure it doesn't happen again, according to court documents. However, it did happen again, and the problem was not taken care of. After appearing in 9 games for the Dolphins in 1996, while his lawyer successfully delayed the disposition of his case until after the season, Thomas was sentenced to 18 months probation for aggravated battery on a pregnant female on February 24, 1997. He was also ordered to spend 10 days in Broward County Jail, which was to be served on weekends, and to complete a 13-week batterer intervention program at Lifeline in Miami. The Dolphins then offered Thomas a new contract on March 11, 1997. 3 weeks later, Thomas assaulted Cooksey again. On March 29th, Metro-Dade police were dispatched to the couple's Coconut Grove home. Cooksey at this point had given birth to a baby boy who was now 6 weeks old. Upon arrival, the officers found Thomas holding the newborn. Cooksey was discovered in the couple's bedroom, crying. Her underwear was torn. There were scratches on her right hand, left shoulder, and neck. After she told Officer Grass that Thomas tore her underwear 3 times and choked her, he was arrested, issued his Miranda rights, and escorted to the back of the police cruiser. After Thomas's arrest, probation officers learned that he had yet to begin the counseling program that was supposed to be part of his probation. A subsequent report signed by Correctional Probation Supervisor Jasmine V. Siegelman and Seligman and Correctional Probation Officer Dorette Jones recommended that Thomas's probation be extended to 24 months with a longer period of counseling. thus giving Thomas a chance to change his temper and be able to live as a law-abiding citizen. The report also indicated that Thomas had accumulated 88 total sentencing points, which carries a maximum of 75 months in state prison. Johnson's initial decision to hire Thomas in 1996 came before the talented receiver had been formally convicted of anything. By the time the team re-signed him a year later, Thomas was a convicted felon. Now he was charged with assaulting his fiancée again and found to be in violation of his probation. Did any of this change Thomas's playing status with the Dolphins? Not exactly. There were no reported disciplinary measures taken by the team, no ultimatums laid down, but Weinberg said that the team strongly encouraged Thomas to seek counseling. There are selfish motives on the part of the Dolphins, arguably, because they want him to be the best player possible, explained Weinberg. But they're saying if you want to reach your full potential, then you have to be able to meet the challenge of dealing with the problems off the field. No one is capable of completely separating his personal life with his professional life. These things bleed through. Jimmy Johnson declined to be interviewed on his decision to continue playing Thomas. The authors, however, did interview other former Dolphins familiar with the Thomas case. The role of the coach to win plays a large role in how they respond to these situations, said ex-Miami Dolphins defensive back Lifford Hobley in an interview for this book. Hobley worked for the Dolphins when running back Irving Spikes was arrested for beating his wife in 1995. Don Shula was the head coach then, and Hobley saw stark differences in the way that Spikes and the Thomas cases were handled. On August 29, 1995, Pembroke Pines police officers responded to a domestic violence complaint at Spikes' residence. According to the police report, Spikes choked his wife and struck her in the face before throwing her to the floor. Stacey Spikes sustained injuries to the neck, knees, and right foot. The following day, Shula met with Spikes, who was entering his second season in the NFL. Despite not yet being convicted of anything, Spikes was informed by Shula that he was on disciplinary probation for a full year. Any more incidents and he would be dismissed. Domestic violence is definitely something that Shula would not condone, said Hobley, who actively worked with Spikes in an attempt to get him counseling. Shula made sure Spikes got into counseling. It was mandatory. He had to go at least 2 hours a week. Spikes felt threatened for his job. According to Hobley, after Spikes met with Shula, he said, "If I get cut from here, who's going to give me an opportunity after this guy? Shula cuts me. Everybody respect him." Spikes pleaded no contest to battery on May 16, 1996. However, as of the publication of this book, Spikes has had no further contact with law enforcement pertaining to domestic violence. He was cut by the Dolphins during the 1998 offseason. In contrast, Thomas faced no apparent disciplinary action from Johnson, nor was Thomas required to fulfill his obligation to attend anger management courses. Oh, do I love that term, anger management courses. Oh! Under Shula, anything that you didn't got caught doing it, you were gone, no matter who you were, according to Hobley. Anything happens outside the realm of this organization that I hear about, there's no question. You did it, you're out of here, Shula used to say. On April 24, 1997, Judge Jeffrey D. Cohen signed a warrant for Thomas's arrest for violating the terms of his probation. It read in part, the probationer did commit the offense of simple battery on March 29, 1997, as alleged in Dade Circuit Court. Thomas was arrested again and jailed pending his trial. It wasn't until Thomas was incarcerated, according to Weinberg, that Thomas started to confront his problem. One day, while Weinberg was visiting Thomas at the Broward County Jail, a guard knocked on the door of their private cubicle and interrupted the conversation. "It's time," the guard said to Thomas. "Time for what?" Weinberg asked him. Weinberg soon discovered that a group of at-risk teenagers were touring the jail in conjunction with a Scared Straight program. Thomas, when he found out about their visit, had volunteered to speak to the youths. According to Weinberg, Thomas stood up in front of the boys wearing his jailhouse jumpsuit and told them, "I'm locked up here. I have a baby at home. I'm sending him the wrong signal, and I play football in the NFL, so you probably think I'm pretty tough. Well, guess what? I'm not too tough to cry. You never want to be in the situation I'm in." Prosecutors suddenly dropped the charges against Thomas on May 14th, and he was released from jail. Cooksey has decided not to testify against Thomas, leaving prosecutors without their prime witness. Cooksey's reluctance is typical of domestic violence victims, but rarely understood by individuals who haven't experienced violence in the home. Sometimes victims had good reasons for not testifying, explained domestic violence judge Ed Newman, former Dolphins lineman. Domestic violence is like a dance. In this dance, one is the aggressor perpetrator, the other is the victim. The victim adopts strategies to avoid the next beating. Some victims think in this procedural context of a trial that they'll be beaten if they step forward as a witness. Sometimes they're concerned about a retaliation. Sometimes the victim is financially and emotionally dependent on the perpetrator. After playing in 2 Super Bowls under Shula, Newman completed his law degree and was later elected to the bench. He's one of a group of Florida judges who've been assigned to hear domestic violence cases on an exclusive basis. When there's an apparent problem, when you see a young lady with a black eye, and it happens again and again, somebody needs to intervene, said Newman. Not only for the good of the individuals, but for the good of the image of the league and of the Dolphins. Apparently, nobody ever intervened on Ebony Cooksey's behalf. Thomas got talked to many times about the need to address his problems, but there was little incentive in the way of consequences. After his incarceration, however, Weinberg said that Thomas started to take counseling quite seriously. A black male, particularly one who plays professional sports, does not see reaching out for psychiatric help or counseling as a viable option, explained Weinberg. They see that as a sign of weakness. So if it was of great value when Lamar stood up in front of a bank of reporters and said, I need professional counseling, and that doesn't mean that I'm not a man. According to Weinberg, Thomas, Cooksey, and their child were living together as of the spring of 1998. At that point in time, Thomas had been counseling for nearly a year. Thomas declined the author's invitation to be interviewed for this book. As far as Jimmy Johnson's motives for keeping Thomas on the roster throughout the assaults, arrests, and jail time, they want to win games, Weinberg said. There is no question about it. If they can get him to play his best, they've helped themselves, but I definitely noticed concern that this was separate and apart from just those issues. When assessing whether Johnson is acting out of raw self-interest or altruism, it is difficult to overlook that in 1998, Dan Marino is throwing the ball to two athletically gifted criminals. Thomas and Jordan have both been convicted of violent crimes. His own words from a press conference October of 1997 seem to sum up his motives best. The bottom line is production, Jimmy said. Oh! All right. Nice going, Jimmy. All right. Okay, that's all I'm going to read. Sorry about all the reading, okay? But I know that most of you won't go out and buy the book and won't read it, so why the hell not? Pros and cons, the criminals who play in the NFL.